The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Our next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
The Jack Benny Program.
Quality of product is essential to continuing success. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
You said it. Why, sure. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw.
For your own real deep down smoking enjoyment, remember, in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco. The kind of tobacco that means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw.
At 47, American.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, last Sunday, Steve Bradley, Jack Benny's press agent, forced Jack into having a contest. You listeners were asked to write in letters completing this simple sentence, I can't stand Jack Benny because. And believe me, folks, the letters have been pouring in. So let's go out to Jack's house in Beverly Hills, where the whole gang is helping Jack open the mail.
Just look at all those letters. I don't know why I let Steve Bradley force me into this contest. It's only been on a week. I bet I've received over 1 million insults already.
Jack, stop exaggerating. You haven't even received 500,000 insults.
I have too.
Oh, don't be so egotistical.
Never mind, Phil. Just keep sorting those letters. Mary, what are you laughing at?
Here's a letter from a lady right here in Los Angeles.
A letter from... What does she say?
She says, I can't stand Jack Benny because he's got the only house in Beverly Hills without mice. If they can't stand him, how can I?
She just made that up. My house is full of mice. So there, I won't give her a prize, believe me.
Well, Mr. Benny, here's a letter from Senator Claghorn.
Senator Claghorn?
Yeah, he's on Fred Allen's program.
Oh. What does the senator say, Larry?
He says, I can't stand Jack Benny because he's so corny when he sits down to dinner, he butters his ears. His ears, that is.
What?
That's a joke, son.
Now, wait a minute.
You're letting them get past you tonight.
Now, cut that out. I don't care anything about him. About him, that is. Now, let's open
Hey,
some...
Jackson, look, here's a letter from a guy who likes you.
Likes me?
Jack, have you been writing in?
No, I haven't, and don't be funny. You know, there are people who like me. Go ahead, Phil. Read that letter.
Okay, now where's the place? Oh, here it is. I think Jack Benny is the most big-hearted man I know.
Big-hearted?
Yeah, see?
Phil, that's pig-headed. I had to tell him yet. Oh, Rochester,
Yes, boss.
are you reading any of the contest mail?
Yeah, lots of it.
Good.
You know, boss, 2 more letters and I'll be convinced that I'm working for the wrong man.
Now, wait a minute, Rochester. A lot of these letters are very nice.
Of course they are. Listen to this one. I can't stand Jack Benny because he's such a spendthrift.
See? Read that again, Mary.
I can't stand Jack Benny because he's such a spendthrift. Signed, Sandy McGregor.
Oh.
And there's 3 cents due on it.
3 cents due. That guy's tighter than Don Wilson in an armchair. Now, kids, we've been all working pretty Hello, Polly.
Hello.
Now, kids, I know we've been working pretty hard, but let's try and...
Oh, boss, don't forget you got a dinner engagement tonight.
Yes, I know.
A dinner engagement? Where are you going, Jack?
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman invited me to dinner tonight. They live right next door, you know.
You invited to the Colemans?
Yes, what's so strange about that? We've been neighbors for about 12 years. Of course, for a while, my success in pictures sort of came between us. You see, Coleman wanted the lead in The Horn Blows at Midnight, but they gave it to me. You see, at his age, they didn't want him to stay up that late. What are you giggling about?
I saw the picture, and you should have gone to bed earlier, too.
Oh, I don't know.
Can't stand Jack Benny.
Polly, you can't enter the contest. You're a relative. Anyway, Mary, I better hurry. If Ronnie and Benita took the trouble of sending me an invitation, I don't want to keep them waiting.
Hey, Jackson, look, you mean they sent you an invitation and they live right next door?
Well, that's the dignified thing to do.
You know, I think that dignified stuff is put on the way Coleman keeps giving out with that phony English accent.
What are you talking about? Ronald Coleman's English accent isn't phony.
It isn't, huh? Well, I happen to know that he was born in London.
Phil, where do you think London is?
It's right near Waxahachie, Texas.
Phil, I know about the London in Texas, but it so happens that now, see? Now there's a London in England.
Oh, Lend-Lease, huh?
Yes, we get it back in 1956. What a guy.
Say, Jack, I'd like to see that invitation you got from the Colemans.
It's right here in my pocket. And I wish Rochester would be a little more careful with the mail. Fortunately, I found it lying out on the back porch.
Let me see it.
Here it is.
Dear Jack, glad to know you are safely back in America. Benita and I would love to have you for cocktails and dinner Sunday evening. We'll expect you around 8. Ronald Coleman.
There you are.
But what does he mean, back in America?
My trip overseas last summer. You know?
Oh, yeah. I still can't understand it.
Say, boss, you better start getting dressed. It's 7:15.
All right, Rochester, lay out my clothes.
Okay, do you want your tuxedo or your tweed, twill, garbardine, herringbone, serge, Palm Beach, flannel, plaid, corduroy, worsted?
Well...
Jack, I didn't know you had so many suits.
It's all one suit.
One suit?
Yeah, Taylor was here, left his book of samples, and Mr. Benny hates to see anything go to waste.
Rochester.
Hey, Jackson, if you wear that suit, you'll look like the man who came to dinner and got a lot of it on you.
Don't worry about it. Rochester, the Colemans always dress for dinner, so lay out my tuxedo.
Boss, you better not wear that tuxedo. It's awful tight on you.
Never mind, I'm going to wear it anyway.
Okay, but if you bend over, you're going to have a white Christmas.
Now be careful. Now, go in the other room and lay out my clothes.
Okay, which shirt do you want to wear? The plain one or the one that lights up and spells LSMFT?
The plain white one tonight.
That's good. The battery's down in the other one anyway.
But I have to go through just to get dressed for a dinner engagement. Come in. Oh, hello, Don.
Hello, Jack. How's the contest going?
Fine. Come on in, Don. And Say, what's that sticking out behind you?
An armchair. I couldn't get it off this morning.
Oh, then I was right.
Jack, how about the contest? Have you really been getting a lot of mail?
Oh, certainly.
You ought to see some of the letters, Don. People have so many reasons why they can't stand Jack, and we haven't even heard from Mama yet.
Your mother can't be in it.
Say, Jack, a couple of contest letters came to my house, too, and I brought them over.
Good.
Here's one I'd like to read to you. It's from J.P. Wilkinson of Girlsboro, North Carolina.
Now, what's he got to say?
Here it is. I've been smoking Lucky Strikes for 25 years because I live down here where they grow the tobacco. And I've seen Lucky's year after year buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder tobacco.
Shona?
As you all know, LSMFT stands for Lucky Strike, means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. The draw, that is.
Don, we all know that, but what's this letter got to do with the contest?
Oh, I'm coming to that, Jack. It's in the P.S.
Oh.
Here it is. I can't stand Jack Benny because he's made of the sadder, the weaker, the naturally cornier jokes.
Don, that letter's more than 50 words, so it doesn't count. Well, I got to go and get dressed, kids.
Where are you going, Jack?
I'm invited to Ronald Coleman's house for dinner.
You are?
Well, what's so surprising about that? I've been invited to the best homes in Beverly Hills. Only last week I was a guest at Gary Cooper's birthday party.
If you were a guest, why did you have to wait on tables?
I just did that for a gag.
A gag, huh? Then why did the guests put tips under their plates?
They did that for a gag, too.
Then why did you keep the tips?
I can go along with a gag, sister. Now, you kids finish sorting the mail. I got to run upstairs and get dressed. Come on, Rochester.
Who's got eyes that sparkle like a lily sprinkled with dew? Lily Bell. Who's got lips as fresh as autumn rain when summer is through? Lily Bell. Would you like a sunbeam on a rainy day? You can catch a sunbeam when she smiles your way. Who's got all the leaves aflutter so they're ready to fall? Lily Bell. Birdies take one look at her and stop their singing to call. My, you're swell. Oh, and incidentally, there's one more thing to tell. If your eyes are open and you think you're seeing a dream, it's Lily Bell. Birdies take one look at her and stop their singing to call. Oh, and incidentally, there's one more thing to tell. If your eyes are open and you think you're seeing a dream, it's Lily Bell.
These trousers are a little tight. How do I look in my tuxedo, Rochester?
Fine, boss, fine.
I wonder if... Oh, darn it, I dropped my gloves.
Don't bend over. I'll get 'em. I'll get 'em.
Oh, yes, thanks.
Boss, you better get going. It's 8 o'clock.
No, Rochester, I think I'll be 5 minutes late. It'll make a better impression on the Colemans. I'll bet that Ronnie and Benita are more nervous than I am.
Oh, Ronnie! Ronnie, where are you?
Right here in the library, Benita.
Hey, darling, shouldn't you be dressed? You know we're having a guest for dinner.
A guest tonight? Who?
Well, you remember? Jack. Jack Wellington from London.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I forgot. Good old Wellington. Then you did mail him the note I wrote.
No, I couldn't find the note anywhere. I think it must have blown out of the window. Well, I phoned him instead. He'll be here in a minute.
Oh, splendid, splendid.
Well, aren't you going to dress?
Oh, no, not for Wellington. No, this turtleneck sweater is all right. He likes informality.
Oh, well, then I won't bother either. I say, look, could you come and help me choose the wine for dinner?
Yes, in a moment, dear, as soon as I finish this letter. Now, let me see. I can't stand Jack Benny because...
Oh, darling, you're not entering that silly contest, are you?
Oh, I certainly am.
But, Ronnie, why?
Well, I don't particularly dislike Jack Benny under normal conditions, but for victory bonds, it's not too difficult.
But, darling, he's our next-door neighbor.
Well, I know. Well, think of the advantage that gives us. All the other people just hear him on the radio. But we can look out of our window and get enough reasons to win all the prizes.
I suppose you're right. Well, just this morning, I heard Mr. Benny shouting at that valet of his. What's the valet's name again? Oh, you know, it's the same as a city in England.
Liverpool?
No, Manchester.
Oh, yes, Manchester, yes.
Anyway, Mr. Benny was shouting at the top of his voice about his coffee being weak. And Manchester was shouting back something about he'd been telling him for years that you were only supposed to use the coffee grounds once. That's a promotion.
Yes, I've heard some of those sessions, but they're mild when you compare them to the ones with that Phil Harris fellow.
Phil Harris?
Yes, the way he comes up the sidewalk every morning yelling, "Okay, Jackson, don't be a mug. Harris is here, so bring out the jug." What a remarkable fellow. Say, does he have some connection with Jack Benny's program?
Oh, yes, I understand he leads the orchestra.
Oh, he's a musician.
No, he just leads the orchestra.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Coleman?
Yes, Sherwood?
Mr. Jack Wellington has arrived.
Oh, good.
Oh, come on, Ronnie.
Hello,
Jack!
Wellington, old boy.
Hello, Ronnie, Benita. It's so nice of you to have me over for dinner. I came direct from the tennis court. I hope you don't mind my being in just slacks and the slip over.
No, of course not. We hate formality.
Tell me, Benita, what are all those mail bags doing in front of the house next door?
Oh, that's Jack Benny's house. He's running a contest.
Jack Benny? Isn't that the fellow that's on the wireless?
Yes.
You know, I just can't stand him. He's so...
Wait, don't say it. Don't waste it. Write it down. Write it down.
What?
Well, that's the contest. Now, we'll tell you about it later.
You Americans do have a peculiar sense of humor.
Well, come on, Ronnie. Get behind the bar and mix us a cocktail.
All right.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Coleman.
Yes, Sherwood?
There's a gentleman at the door to see you, sir. Here's his card.
His card? Huh. Jack Benny, star of stage, screen, and radio. And will sing Oh Promise Me at Weddings. Has own tuxedo. But Jack Benny here? Well, what in the world could he possibly want?
Maybe it's about his lawnmower. Remember you borrowed it.
Yes, but I returned it.
Well, maybe he wants to give you back the deposit you left on it.
Well, Sherwood, look, tell him I'll call later, and we have a guest for dinner.
But, Mr. Coleman, he said that you were expecting him for dinner.
For dinner? Benita, did you invite Jack Benny for dinner?
No. Are you sure you didn't?
I'm positive.
I say, Ronnie, is this the eccentric chap you were telling me about that's having the contest?
Yes. Well, his coming here is obviously a mistake, but we may as well make the best of an awkward situation. Sherwood, show Mr. Benny in, and then set another place for dinner.
Very good, sir. Follow me, Mr. Benny.
Thank you.
May I take your hat, sir?
No, this is the collapsible type. I just fold it up and put it in my pocket.
As you wish, sir.
Well. Hello, Ronnie, Benita.
Hello, Jack. Come in.
Yes. Come in.
We're just about to have a cocktail.
Mr. Benny, this is our friend Jack Wellington.
Pleased to meet you, old chap.
Well, I didn't expect anyone else to be here, but that's just like the Colemans. Always room for one more. Yes, sir.
Ronnie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, the cocktails are ready. A toast. Benita, your health. Wellington, happy days. Benny, good luck.
Too hard. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break the glass.
Oh, and that set was 150 years old.
Well, I'm glad I didn't break any of your new stuff. Well, I'll just sit here and read a magazine while you three go and dress. I'll wait. Huh?
Oh, no. Jack, old boy, this is just an informal gathering.
Oh. Mr. Wellington, you're from England, aren't you?
Yes, I am, old fellow.
Yeah, tell me, Wellington, how are things over there?
Well, it's very exciting right now. Getting things going again. Especially recently with the new elections and all.
Yes, I'd love to get away to England if my schedule would permit. I'd like to be there in the spring.
Yes, at that time of the year, everything's so beautiful, especially the Thames.
Yes, the jolly old Thames.
I always take them whenever my stomach's upset. They're very good, you know.
Benita, are you sure you didn't invite him?
I'm positive, darling.
Oh, Benita, I remember your suggesting that I reread Charles Darwin's Origin of Species. I found it even more elevating on the second reading.
That's true in so many cases. I've just reread the H.G. Wells' Anatomy of Frustration.
Well, I'm rather a dull scholar. I'm just starting on the outline of history for the first time.
Have any of you noticed the frightful mess little orphan Annie's in? The poor little blighter. Yes, sir. Yup. Why they picked Alabama to play the Yes, sir.
Yep.
You said it.
Pardon me, but dinner is served?
Thank you, Sherwood.
Come along, let's go into the dining room.
Okay.
No, Mr. Benny, you're not supposed to take my arm.
Oh.
I say, Benny, old boy, you don't take my arm either.
Well, fellas, I ought to take somebody's arm. Well, here we are in the dining room. Ah, chow. Let's sit down. Boy, that was a swell dinner.
Mr. Benny, excuse me, but the way you're teetering from side to side, is that chair uncomfortable?
No, the chair's fine. It's all my fault, silly me. I forgot to take the mothballs out of my pants. Yes, sir, that certainly was a wonderful meal. Yes, sir.
Well, it's getting kind of late.
Oh, my goodness, I didn't realize what time it was.
My, yes, it is getting rather late.
It's only 9:30. Yes, sir. Yup. Time marches on.
Yes, sir.
Yup.
Well, I guess I better be running along. Time for me to go home. Good night, Mr. Wellington. Very happy to have met you.
Good night, old boy, and with my luck, we'll probably meet again.
Yes, thank you. Good night, Benita and Ronnie. I had a lovely time. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're very welcome, I'm sure.
Yes, we were happy to have you.
Thank you.
I'll show you to the door, Jack.
Thank you. Well, good night, Ronnie, old boy. I had a swell time. Say, I'm awfully sorry about Wellington.
Wellington? What do you mean?
Oh, I know you're loyal to your friends, but isn't it awful the way a guy like him can throw a damper on a party?
You know, Jack, there's a lot of truth in what you say.
You're telling me, huh? Well, goodbye. I'm not out yet.
Pardon me.
Well, good night, Ronnie.
Good night.
Yada-dee-da-dum, da-dee-dum, da-dum. Gee, they're nice people, the Coleman. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum. That Wellington seems to be a nice chap, too. Can't understand him just dropping in uninvited. Oh, well. Yada-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum. Oh, darn it, I dropped my gloves. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman for appearing on my program, and I would also like...
Oh, just a minute, Jack. I've got to read this announcement about the contest.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the contest is still on. Prizes totaling $10,000 in victory bonds will be awarded for the letters containing the best stated and most convincing reasons. Just complete this simple sentence, I can't stand Jack Benny because, in 50 words or less, and mail your letter to the Jack Benny Contest, Hollywood 28, California. Added to our board of judges will be Goodman Ace of Easy Aces and Peter Lorre.
Him I can't stand.
And the supreme and final judge will be the Honorable Fred Allen.
Him I can't stand either.
The contest will end at midnight, December 24th. The decision of the judges will be final, and all letters become the property of Jack Benny, including the rights to publish. This contest is open to everybody except the employees of the American Tobacco Company, its agents, and the National Broadcasting Company. It is also subject to all federal and state laws and regulations. Jack will be back in a minute, but first, here is someone else who can't stand him, my good friend, L.A. Speed Riggs.
It takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette. And Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Yes, sir. LSMFT.
Independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen really know tobacco. And at the tobacco auctions they attend, they can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco.
That's right. LSMFT.
This fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
The famous tobacco auctioneers heard on tonight's program are Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina. And Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 49 out of 49, American.
Basil Rysdale speaking for the makers of Lucky Strike. LSMFT. LSMFT. LSMFT.
Many things may change with the years, but here's one thing you can depend on always. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, first, last, and always, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, during this week, the USO Camp Shows will celebrate its 4th anniversary. I'm sure all of us know that what USO Camp Shows meant to our men and women overseas. Just the other day, I was glad to learn that there are more units overseas now than ever before, and they'll continue sending their shows as long as our men are over there. I was privileged to wear the USO Camp Show's uniform for 3 overseas trips, and I know all the people in the entertainment field, as well as those who are not, congratulate USO Camp Shows on its 4th anniversary. Thank you, and good night, everybody.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Lights Out is up next on nightly old-time radio shows.
Ironized Yeast presents Lights Out. Everybody. It is later than you think. Lights Out brings you stories of the supernatural and the supernormal, dramatizing the fantasies and the mysteries of the unknown. We tell you this frankly. So if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginative plays, we urge you calmly but sincerely to turn off your radio now.
This is Arch Obler. Tonight, a story that's literally out of this world. But first, Frank Martin.
If you're wondering what's keeping you underweight, jittery, tired out so much of the time, please listen carefully. Perhaps the answer to your problem is a very simple one. Maybe you simply have a deficiency of vitamin B1 and iron. If that's it, try ironized yeast tablets. They're the amazing little tablets that have been of such astonishing benefit to so many, many other people with these deficiencies. You see, pleasant little ironized yeast tablets supply both vitamin B1 and iron. No wonder so many men and women who were short on these substances today thank ironized yeast for glorious new pep and strength and needed pounds, new fun out of life. Friends, did you get that name? It's ironized yeast tablets. And now, Lights Out. Everybody.
Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord.
I say, Sergeant.
Yeah, Captain?
That song. Rather monotonous, isn't it?
I don't know any more words.
Well, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
Sergeant.
Yes, sir?
Back home in America, in civilian life, what were you?
A plumber.
Really?
Yep. Still carry my union card. What do you think I was, Cap?
Oh, one of those daredevil circus riders?
Oh, you mean I'm riding too fast?
Well.
Okay, Captain.
It isn't much of a road, you know.
Any speed you want, Captain.
You're doing fine.
Captain.
Yes?
You mind if I ask you something?
Well?
What were you? Back in England. Before the war. If you want to tell me.
Why not? I was a paleontologist.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's all right, Sergeant. Even my best friends didn't quite know what that meant.
Paleo what?
A paleontologist. That means... Sergeant, pull up.
Yes, sir? What's the matter, Cap?
There's something wrong with this road.
Huh?
I remember distinctly a burnt-out Mark IV was just to the right before that ridge of dunes.
Oh, Captain, so help me. We're going the right way.
I don't know about that. I've checked my compass. Infernal desert roads. One never knows when... Well...
What's the matter, Captain?
Have you a compass?
No.
Yeah, it seems that I've lost mine.
Uh-oh.
Well, I've simply got to get back to Magee Bob. I'm quite certain it isn't in this direction.
Well, it sure looks like the road to me, Captain.
No, I'm positive about that burnt-out tank. I think we better cut to the right here.
Okay, Captain.
Hardly do to find ourselves back in Mr. Rommel's lines now, would it?
Maybe we will anyway.
What's that?
Well, I don't know about this road, sir.
You'll have to trust to my judgment, Sergeant.
Yes, sir?
Why so slow?
Well, this road don't look so kosher to me.
What does that mean?
Well, Jerry's might have fixed it up with a few landmines.
Nonsense. Our engineers have cleared out every road within 50 miles. Go ahead. It's getting rather late. You'd better increase your speed.
Okay. You're the captain.
Landmines. Oh, stake my soul, there isn't a landmine within... You're feeling all right? Eh?
Yeah. All right.
Shoulder?
Okay.
These hours I've been sitting here thinking what a miracle it was. Hit a landmine and outside of a bruised shoulder, no harm done.
Yeah. Only now we haven't got a jeep.
I understand how you feel, Sergeant. A man uses his judgment, and sometimes he's wrong.
It's okay, Captain, okay. Only how long are we going to sit here?
No use trying to find our way back till daybreak.
Gee, sure was a swell jeep.
You were very lucky.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, come the dawn, like they say, somebody come along and pick us up. Meanwhile, laying here, it's okay.
Yes. Lovely night.
Captain.
Yeah?
You know anything about stars?
Little?
That bright one up there. How far away do you suppose it is?
Oh, I don't know exactly. Roughly speaking, I should think. Must be at least 150 light years away.
Light years?
Well, light years simply means the distance light can travel in 1 year, traveling at the rate of 186,000 miles per second. In other words, the light that you're looking at from that star traveled 150 times 6 quadrillion miles to get here.
You wouldn't kid me, would you, Captain?
Spoofing?
Yeah.
No, that's scientific fact.
But how can they know? Who holds the other end of the tape measure?
The tape measure is purely mathematical. Believe me, it's all very accurate. Why the interest in that star, Sergeant?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, tell me.
Well, when I was a kid, me and my brother used to go on camping trips, and at night I'd lie out, and just like this, and look at the stars and wish I could get up to them.
Very strange.
Huh?
Ever since I was a child, that subject, interstellar travel's fascinated me, too.
No kidding?
Move out into space, through our universe, beyond our universe. See the wonders of fire and flame, tremendous celestial fireworks on the edge of the sun, one flame of which is greater than all our world. Move from cold star to cold star. See evolution repeating itself somewhere out there on a world as young as ours once was. Dinosaurs and flying reptiles. Men, or not quite men. And then move on to other planets where men perhaps are wise beyond our greatest hopes. Wonderful thing, Sergeant. Travel out into the heavens.
Gee, you sure can say the words, Captain.
The heavenly jeep, Sergeant. That's what we need.
Yeah, a heavenly jeep.
What's that, Sergeant?
Yeah, I hear.
From the north. Jetty.
Must be.
Look, it's getting light.
Yeah, ain't that a break? It gets light when they're coming.
Well, get down. Stay down. You're silhouetted against the sky.
I'm down.
Sounds like quite a flight. Rommel must have got some new bombers from Crete during the night.
They won't last long.
Mighty low.
Sure getting daylight fast.
Well, I hope they don't decide to investigate this road in the jeep.
Here one comes.
Down. Stay down. Don't...
Captain?
Who's calling me?
It's me. Captain, where are you?
I don't know. It's so dark. Sergeant, I see you.
Yeah, I see you, Captain.
Why is it so dark? What happened?
I don't remember.
Where are we?
I don't know. I can't see too well.
We were on the sand, hiding. Were we hiding? Yes, I remember the Stuka.
Yeah.
It dove down on us, machine gunner. I felt my head, a blow.
Captain, look.
What?
On the ground. It's you. Your head.
But I'm here.
It is you.
No, I'm perfectly all right. Sergeant, look over there.
Me?
Yes, it's you. You're all shot up.
Huh?
And yet you're standing here alongside me.
Yeah.
We're hanging in air. Sergeant.
What?
I do believe we're dead.
What?
Dead.
I heard you.
I wonder what's supposed to happen now.
I don't know.
Free of our bodies. We seem to be free. Sergeant, listen to me. We can do it now.
What?
What we were talking about before. We're dead, I'm sure of that, and free of our bodies, hanging in the air. Free of our bodies. Take my arm. Take it, I say.
Okay.
Moving through space. Wish that. Will yourself to move through space.
Yeah.
We are moving through space.
Yeah.
We can do it, Sergeant. We can and we will.
What are you talking about?
What we wanted to do. Go star traveling. We'll visit a star.
Ladies and gentlemen, we leave our lights out story of Heavenly Jeep for just a moment now to eavesdrop on a telephone call.
Hello? Yes, Edie. Why am I crying? It's Bob. I just know he'll never invite me out again. I was so cross with him. Oh, Edie, I don't know what to do. I'm so tired most of the time. I'm losing weight and I've lost my pep. Whatever am I going to do?
Well, if like so many others nowadays, you simply need more vitamin B1 and iron, I'd suggest you try ironized yeast tablets. They cost but a few pennies a day. They give you both these vital substances, and believe me, they are vital. You see, when you don't get enough vitamin B1 from what you eat, you may lose your appetite, not eat all you should. And when you don't get enough iron from your food, you may be pale and run down, feel all in. But if you are short on these substances, don't wait. Start taking ironized yeast tablets right away, tonight. Then see if before long you aren't saying,
Bob says I look like a million with those nice pounds I've gained. And last night we danced till dawn. Thanks to ironized yeast tablets, I've lost that tired feeling now.
And now back to our lights-out story of the captain and the sergeant, who, finding themselves dead, decide to visit the worlds beyond this one.
Sergeant, are you all right?
I guess so, yeah.
Higher. Higher.
Captain, you gotta tell me how fast we're going. How fast?
Stars. Look at them.
So big.
Now look back.
What's that?
Don't you know? Look, Europe, Africa.
The world.
Hanging like a little globe.
Smaller and smaller.
That's how fast we're going. Speed of light. No, speed of thought.
But we're dead.
No, don't think that. Think of this, man. Star traveling. Who's ever done it before? Whoever will? We're traveling to the stars. Look at them. Billions on billions, world without end. Which one should we go to, Sergeant? Which one? Sergeant, I'm talking to you. What?
Who? Who are you?
Woman.
Please, I'm frightened. Who are you?
But the sergeant, where's he?
I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm frightened. I don't know
Oh,
where.
it's all right now. Don't be frightened. Hold on to my hand. I'm Captain James Wood. I was stationed near El Bazaar. Jerry's strafed us, sir. I'm very certain that I'm dead.
Dead?
Yes.
Then I...
What happened to you? Think, please, it's important. Talk to me.
I was standing in the field back of the vestry house. I heard the sound of the planes.
Where? Where do you live?
Outside of Leeds.
When did it happen?
Just a little while ago. The bomb. I heard it. Then I didn't. I must be dead, too.
I think so.
Where are we going? Why am I with you?
I don't know.
We're someplace out in space. And I think we're moving so quickly. Why?
What were you thinking about as it happened?
I don't know what you mean.
I mean, back at your home, before the bomb. What were you thinking about just then?
I don't quite remember.
It's important. Tell me.
I think I was looking at the stars.
Yes?
And thinking how nice it would be to be able to go home to them.
Yes?
Oh, is that why?
Yes, I think it is.
Oh.
Captain.
Who?
Sergeant.
Right here.
Where?
Here, up in here.
Who is he?
Oh, he got hurt with me, Sergeant Berg.
Mr. Meaton, Captain, what goes here? I'm scared.
I am, too. And yet, Miss... what is your name?
Anne Harper.
Miss Harper, you understand, don't you? The sergeant and I were talking about star traveling, and that's what you were thinking about when you got blitzed. And that's where we're going. Right to that star. You do understand?
I'm trying to. Dead and going higher and higher to a star.
Holy cats.
It is possible.
Wonderful.
Back where we started.
What, Sergeant?
Flew all around and back where we started from. This is the world, ain't it?
No, that isn't possible.
What are you talking about? Green hills, birds, trees? It is the earth.
Yes, it must be. We're back on the earth.
I don't think so.
Huh?
Why do you say that, Captain?
We left the earth. My senses told me that. Sergeant, you remember? The earth behind us. Smaller and smaller. The continents outlined, remember?
But this, where are we now?
Where are we now?
I don't know. And yet I think I do. A place that's just like where we came from, but another world. You hear me? Another world.
Huh? What?
Do you realize the miracle of it? A universe full of millions of stars, suns, flying comets, burning gas and heat and coal beyond understanding. One chance in millions of a star with air on it, with temperature just exact enough to permit life. Of another star with air surrounding it, just like our Earth. One chance in millions of another star with temperature mild enough to permit growing things the way we know them. And this it is. We're here. Another world, exactly like our own.
Then I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
Do you feel anything?
Huh?
The air is bright. There's a sun shining. No, look. Two suns in the sky. A large and a small one.
Well, what's that got to do with me?
Yes, what's that to do with our being alive?
Do either of you feel the warmth?
Holy.
Look. That tree, it's bending in the wind. Do you feel the wind, either of you? I don't.
I don't either.
Well, what does it mean? You got to tell me.
What I said before must be true. We're dead, but getting our last wish. That must be God's gift to all the dead.
As long as we're here and know that we're here, I suppose that's all that matters.
I'm not dead. I know I'm not dead.
All right,
I'm not
Sergeant,
dead.
all right.
Yeah.
The important thing is to...
Why did you stop talking?
Captain, what are you...
You see,
Yeah.
What is it? What are you both looking at?
on that rise over there.
What?
I think we saw a man.
There he is again.
Well, from the look of him, we've stumbled on another Garden of Eden.
But his face.
What?
Can't you see? His face. Look at his face.
Hey, you. We're talking to you. Don't you understand words? Who are you? Why have they got you fenced up? Hey, what's the matter with them? Keep yelling at them, and all they do is make that noise.
This fence. Why is it all around the field? Why is it around them?
Captain, we're talking to you. All these men and women and children, why are they fenced in? What's the matter with them?
Their faces, all of them, so empty. What's the matter with them?
I don't know.
Insane. That's it. They're insane.
Yeah, that's it. Nuts. 12-foot fence. That's why they got it, to keep all the nuts in.
Perhaps.
But how inhuman, those poor little children, the women. No protection against the sun.
I'm with you, lady. You ain't got no right to treat anybody this way. Captain, come on, we'll see the CO. I mean, whoever's in charge, and tell them what we think. Captain, what's the matter?
Have you forgotten where we are?
Huh?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Of course, you're right. We must do what we can for these unfortunate people.
But where's the house, the asylum?
The trees are so thick. We'll just have to follow this fence until we come to the main house.
Yes.
Coming, Sergeant?
Yeah.
Captain,
What is it?
could it be possible the enclosure is some sort of a concentration camp?
It's possible.
Like in Germany?
They've stopped murmuring.
Yeah.
They're all looking in the other direction.
What?
Quickly, in the brush. Get behind that brush.
Yes.
Okay.
There's nothing.
Listen.
What?
A plane.
I don't know.
Airplane?
I see it over the trees. There, it's circling. What? Godfrey.
What is it?
I'll go see.
Wait, stay where you are. It's landing in the enclosure.
Please tell me. What is it?
I don't know.
It's a bug.
Yes. An insect as large as a man.
Listen to the people.
Yes.
Why are they clustering around that thing? Why?
Captain, did you see it?
Yes, it's feeding them.
An insect feeding men.
It's the root and truth. Look at it. They're sticking their faces up toward it like a farmer and his pigs.
Oh, no.
A farmer and his pigs.
Captain, why did you say it, too? I was only talking. Do you hear me? I was only talking.
The truth.
Huh? What did you say? Captain, what is this? What is that thing out there?
I don't quite know, but I think it's an ant.
Ant?
A winged ant. And I think he's feeding his stock.
No. Why do you say that? It ain't true.
Look at them.
No, it can't be. They're people like you and me. A bug feeding them. Captain, you got brains. How could a thing like that be? Tell me.
We're in another world. Accept that fact. We're in another world. A world just like our own in climate and in structure, with one great difference. And yet a small difference, cosmically. The race of man is not the primary creature here. Here the lords and rulers of the animal world. Yes, the insects. The cleverest of them all, the ants. Huge ants. Like that one, I tell you, well, if it's as clever in proportion as the tiny ones I watched in my garden back in England, then this world is a better integrated place than where we came from. But look at that ant. Why, if it stood erect, it would be at least 7 feet tall. Magnificent.
Magnificent? Lady, did you hear him? He's out of his head. A bug big as a truck feeding people like us, and he calls it magnificent.
Yet it's true. Captain, you are right. Frightening, but you are right.
You too? Lady, you too?
Sergeant, I told you in another
No,
world.
I
You've
listen
got
to you. You listen to me, both of you. This magnificent stuff, this malarkey about that bug and others like it running things. I tell you, it's not for me. Bugs crawl on the ground or they fly and you swat them. They don't put 12-foot fence around you and keep you there. They don't feed you.
An objective attitude is
What
necessary.
do you mean, an objective attitude? They're kids and men and women, and look at them begging that thing for a handout. When it's fed him fat enough, what do you think he does with them? What do you think?
But another
Stop
world.
talking about another world. I don't want any part of it. I want to get out of here. You, both of you, got too many brains for me. Me, I just feel things, and I don't want any part of this world. I'm tired, and I want to go back where I belong. It's a cockeyed world, all right, but at least there it's a man's world, and a man's got a fighting chance.
Sergeant, stay down.
No, I won't stay down. This place with its super concentration camp and people like pigs, it's not for me. I want to get out of here. I don't have to be here. I'm not dead. Do you hear me? I'm not dead. 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 No, I'm mad.
Sure,
I'm
Sergeant.
mad.
Take it easy. You're all right.
What? Who? What?
Relax, Sergeant. We'll have you back in a base hospital in a few moments.
Where?
Captain Wood?
Yeah, Captain Wood. Where?
We had to bury him out there. The stuker that strafed you did a pretty complete job. Now, don't try to talk. Lucky the ambulance driver took the wrong turn of the road or we'd never have found you. Another hour out there and we had to check you off, too. Between the hot sun and the ants.
Ants?
Yeah.
Tell me, Captain really dead?
Yeah. Too bad.
It's okay.
What?
The captain is just where he wants to be. That's okay.
Why, yes. We gave him a decent burial. He'll rest in peace.
That's where you're wrong.
What?
Him and his guy Lem won't rest. They got too many brains to stay quiet dead. They'll keep on... What did he call it? Star traveling. Yeah. Star traveling.
Well, Mr. Obler, I must say, a pleasant prospect.
What do you mean?
Well, this future you outlined for us, traveling to other worlds and finding that the ants or the bees or the termites have taken over.
No. That's no prophecy, Frank. That's just a possibility. But before talking about those possibilities, a brief word from you.
Friends, if you're so tired out and jumpy and underweight and all in that you can't get your proper enjoyment out of life, and if more vitamin B1 and iron is all you need to help you snap out of it, remember, ironized yeast tablets with their famous two-way help have been of truly astonishing benefit to countless men and women with these deficiencies. Of course, there are instances where a rundown condition may stem from other causes. If you're in doubt, by all means consult a physician. But if you simply need more vitamin B1 and iron, remember, ironized yeast has been so successful in such cases that it's sold on this no-risk, money-back basis. If you don't start to eat better, to feel much better, and so sleep better, the cost of the first bottle will be refunded to you in full by ironized yeast, Box IY, Rahway, New Jersey. And now, Mr. Obler, what about the possibility you were talking about of an insect world?
Frank, that's just a possibility. Scientists have long agreed that the bees and the ants and the termites are, well, they've community organizations and a willingness to sacrifice for the good of their fellow beings that's really remarkable. Under proper conditions, there would be the possibility of a world ruled by the insects. I can hear some cynics out there saying that surely the ants and the bees and the termites couldn't have made a worse mess of this world than certain ones of us have in this, these 1,943 years since. Oh, well, let's turn to pleasanter things. Next week, I walked into the script department of Columbia Broadcasting System here in Hollywood a few weeks ago, and I found myself surrounded by some charming young ladies who left their typewriter long enough to insist that I tell them the truth about myself. In other words, that I really live the plays I wrote for Lights Out. I managed to get out of the department alive, and if you want to hear the revenge of Obler against the ladies of the script department, well, listen in to Murder in the Script Department next week.
Yes, tune in next Tuesday again for Arch Obler's eerie story called Murder in the Script Department. And if you need more vitamin B1 and iron, be sure to try ironized yeast. But remember, there's only one ironized yeast. You'll know it instantly by the yellow and orange package and by the big letters IY on the container and on each tablet.
It is later than you think.
Look up the street or down, you'll see that white shoes have come to town. And because of shoe rationing, folks are using Energine Shoe White to help give those white shoes the best of care. Energine Shoe White is made with the whitest pigment obtainable. It spreads over shoes easily and dries evenly to a real white, never a dingy off-white. So keep white shoes looking better longer. Buy Energine Shoe White. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Hey, man, how about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
Transcribed. The Pet Milk Program with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. The First Evaporated Milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly, transcribed with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Keith Fowler and directed by Max Hutto, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Health, wealth, and happiness. That's our wish for you for 1952. And you can do a lot to make part of that wish come true. You can help keep your family well and happy by seeing that they get lots of good whole milk each day. And no milk you can buy is better than Pet Evaporated Milk. No milk makes it easier to give your family this needed protective food in such a variety of delicious ways. You see, just 1 pint of Pet milk supplies the same nourishing milk substances that you get in a quart of bottled milk. Because Pet milk is good, sweet country milk with more than half the water taken out by evaporation. So, by using this concentrated milk, it's easy to put extra amounts of those protective substances into many favorite family dishes. Creamed meats and vegetables, gravies, custards, puddings, cream pies, to mention a few. And, of course, in place of cream for coffee. So start now to use Pet's evaporated milk in the many ways it can be used to add extra nourishment to foods your family enjoys. Let Pet milk help to make 1952 a happy year for all of you. To Mrs. Magee of 79 Wistful Vista, today is the beginning of a bright new year, full of hopes, plans, and dreams. But to her husband, it's just another Tuesday. As we join Fibber, Magee, and Molly.
Oh, Magee, I wish you'd show a little more enthusiasm. This is the 1st of January, 1952. After all, this is a special day, you know.
What's so special about it? The sun came up this morning on schedule, and it'll go down this evening. Congress don't slap a luxury tax on it. Getting steamed up about New Year's Day, that's a lot of twaddle.
Well, now, the rest of the world doesn't feel that way. Even the birds seem to be singing a little bit louder.
That's what I said. All this New Year's Day stuff is for the birds. Hand me one of them popcorn balls off the Christmas tree, will you?
Oh, dear. All you've done all day is eat. There aren't many popcorn balls left, either.
That's okay. I only want one. Watch it, though. I grabbed it without looking a while ago and got what I thought was a popcorn ball and bit the rear end off a wax reindeer. Tasted horrible. Come on, give me one.
Well, hurry up and eat it, dearie. We should get started, you know. You promised.
Promised what? Oh, yeah. Go New Year's calling with you. Okay, I'll go, Tootsie. In fact, I'm looking forward to visiting our friends today.
Well, that's a little New Year's spirit, anyhow.
Sure. Anybody that you call at their house on New Year's Day ought to serve some kind of refreshments. Yeah, and I'm running kind of low on popcorn balls, too, boy.
Look, sweetheart, you ought to make a New Year's resolution not to...
Resolutions. Pump. Not me, kiddo. Only reason people make resolutions anyhow so they can break them the next day.
Oh, that isn't always true, Magee.
No, sometimes they break them the same day. Now, you take your Uncle Dennis when he was living with us. He comes up to me on New Year's Day and he says, Magee, he says, I made a resolution I ain't never going to take another drink. And I says, Uncle Dennis, that's a fine resolution. You betcha it is, says he, whipping out a bottle. Let's drink to it.
Well, anyhow, I'm making some resolutions for myself. I've just written out a list.
Yeah?
Yes. The first one is lose some weight.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I'm afraid I'm going to have to start watching my figure.
Now, I've been watching... I've been watching your figure for years, baby, and you don't have to worry about it. Not a bit.
You don't think so?
No, sir. Your figure's fine. For your age. And weight.
Thank you, I think.
Oh, why worry about it? My gosh, when a girl's been married as long as you have, baby, people don't expect her to have the figure she had as a girl. Hey, what you doing? Scratching out that resolution?
No. I'm scratching out the second one.
What's that, the second one?
Only have kind thoughts about Magee.
Oh.
Go get your hat now.
Okay, I'm coming.
Wait.
Oh.
Come in. Oh, hello, Ollie.
Well, hello, Mrs. McGee. Are you stopping to say Happy New Year?
Well, the same to you, Ollie. We were just getting ready to go New Year's calling ourselves.
We were just talking about New Year's resolutions, Ollie. Did you make any?
Yes, Mrs. I resolved to took setting up exercises. I want to be like I was back in Sweden when I work out in the gymnasium.
Oh? Were you an athletic boy?
Oh, sure, McGee. I used to hang from trapeze all morning and swing from parallel bars all afternoon.
Well.
My arms get used like iron, but there was one trouble.
What was that, Ollie?
My legs get so puny I had to walk on my hands. So starting now, I'm going to took setting up exercises every night.
Yeah, at night?
Sure, that's when my daughter Christina's boyfriend comes over and he raids the icebox.
Oh?
Well, long as I'm setting up guarding the groceries, I might as well be taking setting up exercises.
Say, Ollie, is this Christina's steady boyfriend, the one with all the knuckles?
That's the one, Mrs., the football player.
Oh, yeah.
Jumbo Stone, his name is. He's a quarterback with a fullback appetite. You know, Christmas night, we have 2 turkeys in the icebox. Jumbo Stone comes over, next morning, 2 carcasses.
Young Stone polished off both birds, eh?
Yeah. And my missus says now she knows what the old saying means, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, Happy New Year again, both you fellas.
Same to you, Ollie.
Billy Mills in the orchestra and Wonderful.
Mr. Wimple's house. Push the buzzer, dear.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Wimple.
Happy New Year, Wimp.
Hello, folks. My, what a nice surprise. Do come on in.
Thanks.
We decided to pay our friends a good old-fashioned New Year's call. Is Mrs. Wimple home?
No, Sweetie Face has gone to a meeting of her club.
Oh?
The Women's Institute to Civilize Husbands. Known for short as the Witches.
Sounds like a worthwhile group.
Yes. They're holding an election today, and Sweetie Face expects to be made chief witch.
Oh?
I feel that she's the perfect choice. I gave her a lovely broom for Christmas.
Well, how sweet. Oh, I see you have some new things since we were here last, Mr. Wimple. That bookcase, for one.
Yes, that's new.
Beautiful.
Seedy Face built it herself with her own big old hands.
My, that's remarkable.
She also built that coffee table.
Really? Well, it's lovely. And such a cute crocheted dolly on it.
Yes. I do nice work, too, don't I?
You run up that doily, Wimp?
Yes. Would you like to see some bath towels I crocheted, Mrs. McGee?
Oh.
One says, hers on it, and the other says, his by courtesy of hers.
Some other day, Mr. Wimple. We have more calls to make.
Oh, you mustn't leave until I give you some refreshments. How about a slice of this fruitcake?
I'm afraid we
Oh,
haven't time.
sure, we got time. Back off a hunk for me, Wimp.
All righty. I'd join you, but I made a New Year's resolution not to eat sweets or starches. Here's your cake.
A resolution? Boy, you don't catch me messing up my... Hey, is that more food there on the table?
Yes. Just a little snack I fixed for Sweetie Face.
Looks good.
Would you care for some potato salad on another plate? Say when.
No fooling, Wimp. That resolution stuff is for the peasants, you know? I ain't making any because the guy don't need them when he leads the good, normal, healthy, friendly, kindly, honest, sincere kind of life I lead. Boy, when?
Heavenly days. Honestly, McGee, I was ashamed of you. Did you have to make such a pig of yourself?
Where do you get that pig stuff? Did you ever see a pig eat potato salad and fruitcake?
Oh, you know what I mean. What about the ripe olives and the smoked oysters?
They weren't as good as that turkey sandwich, boy.
Oh, dear.
Hey, I hope the tribute home going to come here's his house.
Happy New Year, Mr. Mayor.
Well, it's the McGees. Come in, come in.
New Year's calling the trib. We're out seeing our friends, so we thought we might as well see you, too.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise. Another friend of yours is here, too. Hello, Molly. Hi, pal. Happy New Year.
Oh, Mr. Wilcox, the same to you.
Greetings, Junior.
Well, sit down, both of you.
Thanks.
It's great to relax with my friends a little. Spent most of the morning at the city council meeting where I delivered my annual New Year's address. I said, and I quote, "Members of our city council, as mayor of Wistful Vista, I feel that our fair city will make great strides during this year of 1949. In my opinion,
Mr.
it is
Mayor, this is 1952.
Good heavens. I've delivered that same speech for 4 years and forgotten to change the day.
You should make a New Year's resolution to write a new one for next year, Mr. Mayor.
Don't you start with resolutions, Junior. None of that stuff for me. I say it's a lot of poppycock, and I'm one poppy that ain't going to go off half-cocked. That's silly stuff.
Oh, now, wait a minute. There's nothing silly about it, pal. Everybody makes New Year's resolutions.
Why, certainly. I've resolved to give up cigars.
I've made a resolution myself.
As Julius Caesar said when the boys ganged up on him, et tu, brutal. Which means the party's getting rough.
Well, what did you resolve to do, Mr. Wilcox?
To take more walks and get more fresh air.
That's a fine idea, Harlow.
Yes, instead of walking to the market just once a day to buy a dozen cans of pet evaporated milk, I'll walk there 12 times a day and buy 1 can at a time.
You buy 12 cans of pet milk every day?
Well, of course. Doesn't everyone?
This may curdle your whole outlook on life. No, they doesn't.
Mr. Wilcox, what do you do with all those cans?
Why, I carry them around with me, Molly. Huh? When I eat in a restaurant, for instance, I always leave the waiter a can of pet milk for a tip, instead of just money.
The next time you go back, they can't find a table for you.
No, on the contrary, pal, they're eager to serve me.
Is that so?
Yes, you see, waiters are experts on food, and they know that pet milk is the secret of so many rich, nourishing, delicious-tasting dishes. They know that food cooked with pet evaporated milk is extra good, and extra good for you.
Good for you, Mr. Wilcox.
And then there are the little children.
Ah, yes, the little children.
I often see them outside a candy shop.
Yeah.
their little noses pressed against the glass, yearning for the goodies they cannot buy.
Oh, yes.
I beckon them to me, and in each tiny hand I place a can of pet milk.
But you never buy 'em any candy.
Oh, no. Certainly not. I'm sure they'd rather have pet because they've heard their mothers say how pet milk helps them to grow strong and tall, how it builds their little bodies into sturdy young manhood.
The girls, too?
And young womanhood. How it helps them build straight bones and good sound teeth.
Someday, Junior, as you walk towards them little kiddies outside the candy store with the cans of pet milk rattling around in your pockets, them little kiddies are going to look at you and say, Mr. Wilcox, you clink.
If I may interrupt this discussion a minute. How about some refreshments, Molly? Some cake? Some ice cream?
No, thanks, Mr. Mayor. We've been eating all day. One of us has.
I'll have a little, Homer.
Well, hold the dish, McGee. There's plenty of ice cream. Just say when.
Okay, boy, dish it up.
All right.
The reason I get such a bang out of these resolutions you guys make, Latrivia, is on account of because I made a stack of them. Oh, I made them last year at 8 o'clock in the morning. And what time do you think I busted them? 10. I didn't say when, I said 10.
Oh, pardon me.
That stuff is okay for you guys that need to improve yourselves, but a guy that leads the kind of a good, normal, healthy, friendly, kindly, honest, sincere kind of life I lead don't need 'em. When?
Sweet Genevieve.
Let's see now. The old-timer lives along here somewhere, doesn't he, dearie?
Next house, kiddo. Hey, you know, Molly, this New Year's calling is kind of fun.
Why, sure it is. Although you must have added 20 pounds since we left home.
Well, hello there, kids. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too, Mr. Oldtimer.
Yeah, we're just out New Year's calling, old-timer.
Well, come on in, kids. Come in.
Thanks.
I'll have to excuse the looks of my room, daughter. Kind of mussed up.
Cozy little joint you got here, old-timer, if you can stand it.
May not be a castle, kids. Maybe the decor ain't exactly modern, but to me, it's a goat's nest.
Well, we can't stay but a minute. We just thought...
Hey, let me get you kids some refreshments. It ain't every day you come New Year's calling. How about a piece of cake?
No, thanks.
Now you're talking, boy. I'm starving.
Oh, this is wonderful cake, kids.
Good.
Bessie made it for me with her own two little hands. Hand me that hammer and chisel, son.
Chisel? What kind of cake is it?
Pound cake, daughter. I'll pound you out a piece of it. When I sit down today to write out my New Year's resolution, I said...
Resolution? My gosh, you go for that bunk, too.
I've always been a great hand for New Year's resolutions, kids. Made my first one when I was just a child of 21.
21.
I said, and I quote, I hereby resolve to stop chasing after girls.
Chasing girls? Did you stick to it?
I sure did, Johnny. From that day on, I never chased another girl. Just women. Have some more pound cake, kids. Let's go for a celebration.
Yeah.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
King's Men and Swinging Down the Lane.
Sleigh bells ringing, voices singing, and all the world's aglow. Come on along and go. Put on your earmuffs, your mittens and galoshes. Let's go sloshing in the snow. Everybody hand in hand, swinging down the lane. Everybody feeling grand, swinging down the lane. That's the time I miss the bliss that we might have known. On a night like this, when I'm all alone, when the moon is on the rise. watching lovers making eyes like we used to do. When the moon is on the wane, still I'm waiting all in vain. Should be swinging down the lane with you. When the moon is on the rise, honey, I'm so blue. Watching lovers making eyes like we used to do. When the moon is on the wane, I wait in vain. Should be swinging down the lane with you.
You know, I find this whole thing very amusing, Molly, this New Year resolution routine. Even the old-timer goes for that stuff.
I think you'll find it's a pretty popular custom, though, dearie.
Not with me, it ain't, Tootsie. Just think for a minute how those guys have took all the fun out of life for themselves, Molly.
Well, now the...
Holy, taking setting up exercises.
He's ambitious.
Latrivia's giving up cigars.
He was smoking too much.
Wally Wimple going to cut out sweets.
He gained a pound last year.
Wilcox is going to take a long walk in the fresh air every day.
It'll keep him healthy.
And even the old-timer going to bed early. Ha! Give me a slice of that fruitcake, will you?
Fruitcake?
Yeah.
Look, we're walking along Oak Street, dearie. I don't have any fruitcake.
In your purse.
In my purse?
Yeah. I put a few slices of fruitcake in your purse at Latrivia's house.
Oh, no.
Sure. Oh, I wrapped it up good, nice in a napkin.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
There.
No wonder this bag felt so heavy. Here, take it all out of here.
Oh, no, thanks. One piece is enough for now, Tootsie. I'll ask you when I want another one. Oh, hey. By a strange coincidence, Doc Gamble's office is right here, Molly. Let's look in on the old boy.
Oh, this is a holiday, dearie. He won't be in his office today.
Don't you worry, he'll be in.
Well, look who's here. Happy New Year, Molly.
Same to you, Doctor.
And a jolly greeting to you, even, my boy.
Happy 52, Fatso. What'd I tell you, Molly? While normal people are home resting up like they're supposed to, old Money Hungry here keeps his office open so he can get rich off of the sick and the wounded.
Now, Magee, that's a terrible thing to say.
I'm just kidding, Doc. Personally, I regard you not only as a friend, but as a guy that he's the most prominent doctor in Wistful Vista.
Well, thank you, but I'm not really very prominent, I'm afraid.
Oh, sure you are, Doc. Why, my gosh, your stomach alone is as prominent as any other complete doctor.
Now, Magee, you'd better move out of that glass house before you start throwing any rocks.
Oh, he doesn't bother me, Molly. I'm used to him. What did he do? Make a New Year's resolution to be more impossible than ever this year?
Ah, resolutions. Ah.
He didn't make any this year, Doctor.
No.
It is his contention that one needs no resolutions when one lives a good, normal, healthy, friendly, kindly, honest, sincere kind of life, Doctor.
Who?
Me!
I didn't recognize the description, Chiselhead.
Well, I've had a lot of laughs out of all the silly resolutions I've listened to so far, Fatso. I will say, however, that all the hosts that we've been guests of up to now have all had the courtesy to offer us some kind of refreshments.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pig Nose. It was thoughtless of me. I have something here that a patient of mine brought me. A beautiful fruitcake. Fruitcake. Oh.
What's the matter? Something wrong, dearie?
Well, look at his face. That's as pretty a two-tone green as I've ever seen. What's the matter, my boy?
I don't know, Doc. I just looked at that fruitcake and all. Oh, my stomach.
Oh, dear.
Huh? What's he been eating today, Molly? Besides fruitcake, cookies, candy, potato salad, smoked oysters, turkey, salted nuts, and 8 or 10 cigars.
Popcorn balls, Doctor.
Oh, that's just great. Take off your shirt, Magee.
Okay, Doc. Oh.
Is he wearing a life preserver under his undershirt, Molly? Oh, that's Magee.
Doctor, that is Christmas living.
Has he been getting any exercise?
Well, he's been striking a lot of matches. He lights his own cigars, you know.
You do any walking?
3 times a day, Doctor. The Davenport to the table and back to the Davenport.
Oh, yeah. What is it, Doc? Is it serious? You can tell me. I'll be brave. Hold my hand, Molly.
All right,
It's the life you've been living, my boy. Nothing drastic, but you'll have to mend your ways a little.
Anything, Doc, anything. Oh. What do I have to do?
5 simple things.
Yeah.
Simple. Molly, you see that he does them.
Right, Doctor.
No cigars. No sweets. Regular exercise. Get to bed early. And take a long walk every morning.
Happy New Year resolutions, dearie.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. Since this is the day for resolutions, suppose you resolve in 1952 to have more delicious meals at lower cost. Not possible? Oh, yes, it is. When you use Pet evaporated milk. There are so many ways you can use Pet milk in place of foods that cost more. For breading chops and cutlets, for example, use Pet milk in place of eggs. In mashed potatoes, use Pet milk in place of butter. In your coffee, use Pet milk in place of cream. And in special whipped cream desserts, use low-cost Pet milk in place of expensive whipping cream. You can use Pet milk these many ways because it's a concentrated milk, concentrated to double richness by evaporation. And in every case, the food you fix with Pet milk will taste extra good and cost less. That's right, for Pet milk costs less generally than bottled milk or any other form of milk, and much, much less than cream. So in 1952, do as other good cooks do. Use Pet evaporated milk and enjoy better food at lower cost.
Are you comfortable there on the Davenport, dearie?
Yeah, I feel okay, I guess. Gee, I'm sure glad I got a chance to visit all our little friends before I got took sick.
Well, that's a very nice thought, dearie.
Yeah, it would have been awful if I'd have got took sick before I got a chance to eat all that swell turkey and potato salad and smoked oysters and fruitcake and popcorn balls and all the rest.
Rest, dearie. You need rest. Especially your mouth.
Okay. Good night.
Good night and Happy New Year, everyone.
The first evaporated milk, Pet milk, brings you Fibber, Magee, and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you? Have you ever tried to change your whole life just by changing your looks? Well, that's what a young friend of Sally Carter's does with surprising results. In the story of the week on Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor program next Saturday morning. And immediately following the story of the week, Mary Lee Taylor gives you the special husband-tested recipe of the week for a main dish that's a big hit with men, barbecued corn and meatballs. Be sure to enjoy Pet Milk's big double-feature Mary Lee Taylor program next Saturday morning over this same NBC station.
This program was transcribed. Next, it's Playhouse on Broadway on NBC.
Well, Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear. Well, the Lone Ranger up next.
Hi-yo, Silver, away!
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo, Silver, the Lone Ranger. Whenever men gathered around the campfire in the early days of the western United States, stories were told of the masked rider of the plains. His strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness, made him the greatest champion of justice the West ever knew. It was he more than any other man who brought law and order to a lawless frontier. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're on the trail of outlaws! Hail, Silver! Away!
It was Dottie Grant's singing that made Ike Tuttle's Cafe the most popular in town. But one night, after she had finished, the girl was tired, but she went up to Ike and...
Mr. Tuttle, there's something I want to tell you.
By and by, Dottie, by and by. I'm busy now.
But I can't wait. I wanted to tell you that I'm quitting here.
You what?
I'm quitting my job. Ma wants me to, and I guess I'll be mighty glad to quit.
Now, see here, Dottie. You can't quit on me. I won't stand for
But
it.
I've got to, Mr. Tuttle. My brother's riding the Pony Express now, and with him fetching in some money, Ma's made me promise to quit working here.
Oh, so my place ain't good enough for you to work in, is that it?
It isn't that, Mr. Tuttle. It's as good as any cafe.
Your ma figures that with your brother a pony rider, you're too highfalutin to be singing for a living, huh? You was mighty grateful to get the job when you first come here.
Please, Mr. Tuttle.
I took you in when you didn't have a square meal. I paid you every Saturday. Now you're being an ungrateful
Mr.
little...
Tuttle, you know that I earned every penny you paid me. And your business is more than doubled since I came here.
So now you're leaving. Well, I won't stand for it. You go on, get to work.
I've worked long past the regular time already, Mr. Tuttle, and if you'll pay me for last...
Pay you? I'll pay you nothing. You leaving will hurt my business. I ought to sue you for it. You can't
Very
leave.
well, if that's how you feel, I'll go.
Just because that no-good brother of yours has finally found
Don't
a job.
you call my brother names.
I'll call him whatever I doggone please. Fresh young squirt he is. Thinks he's mighty important now that he's riding a Pony Express. Well, if you go and get. Go on, get out.
You owe me $2 for the week's work here.
You try and get it.
I didn't think anyone could be as cheap as that, Ike Tuttle.
Now clear out of here.
Just 1 minute.
You mind your own business, stranger.
You owe this girl a week's pay.
None of your affair.
If you do, you give it to her.
Oh, stranger, I don't want no trouble.
Well, there'll be no trouble. Tuttle will pay what he owes you.
I'll be...
What?
Well, all right. Take your money. There it is. Now go on and clear out. When your brother loses that job of his, he will come back here begging me for your job back.
Buck won't lose his job. He'll be the best pony rider on the whole chain. You'll see.
Yes, I'll see. And so will you.
Goodbye, Mr. Tuttle. And thanks. Thanks, mister, for helping me.
You're welcome. Good luck to your brother.
Thanks.
Ungrateful, that's what she is. Just doggone ungrateful. But she'll see.
You'll lose a lot of trade without your star attraction, won't you, Tuttle?
You mind your own affairs. I don't need no advice or suggestions from strangers. Don't need your business neither, so clear out.
You never had any business from me, Tuttle.
I'll show her. I'll have her back here inside of 2 weeks' time. I'll show her.
We'll have to get our supply of food somewhere else, Tuttle.
What matter in there?
I didn't like the methods of the man who runs it.
Oh.
I don't like the expression on his face either. He wants to get his singer back, and before he can do that, he has to make her brother lose his job.
Where go now?
Oh, I'll go to another cafe and get the things we need. It'll be easy while I'm disguised, not wearing the mask. They look on me as a traveler just passing through town. I wonder what Tuttle had in his mind. He's an ugly sort when he doesn't have his own way.
What you think him do?
I don't know. It's a matter of both pride and money with him. His cafe business will fall off a lot without that girl to sing. His pride is hurt by having her leave. I wonder just how far he'd go to get her to come back.
What we do?
I think we'll spend a little time here in San Pedro, Kimasabi. There may be things worth watching. Not only the girl and Tuttle, but the brother of the girl.
She said his name was Buck.
The following day, Dottie Grant and her mother welcomed Buck home after his first trip as a pony rider.
Hi, Dot.
Buck! Oh, he's here. Come on.
Oh, Buck.
Hi, Ma.
My sakes alive, but you look gay and happy. Stand back and let me look at you.
Oh, I couldn't change that much in the time I've been away, Ma.
But you have. I do declare you've grown a full inch since the last time I saw you.
Oh, it's just 'cause I'm holding my head up high.
Oh, you silly goose. But tell me, son, have you had any terrible dangers?
Oh, of course not. It's great to ride the mail.
Have the Redskins bothered you some?
Just a couple of times they took pot shots at me, but they didn't even come close. Why, everyone knows what it would mean to interfere with the mails. Oh, I brought some money for you, Moms.
Oh, bless you. That wasn't necessary.
Sure it was. We don't want Dottie singing in Ike Tuttle's place, do we?
I left him, Buck.
Oh, it's good you did. That's one of the things I wanted to ask about. You left, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, see that you stay away. No more singing for you, sis.
How long can you stay, Buck?
Just a few minutes. I'll pack away some grub, and then I'll have to leave.
Oh, so soon?
Yep.
Oh, I hope you don't get any real dangerous trips, Buck. You seem so young to be out on your own, riding them fast horses and responsible for the mail and all.
Shucks, there's nothing to it. There's just one bad stretch in the whole route.
Oh, there is a bad stretch?
Oh, nothing to worry about, though, Ma.
Where is it?
Oh, it's that part of the trail through the Deadwood Forest.
Where's that?
East of here, near Bear Lake. The lake's most all surrounded by a forest that was hit by blight or something. Nothing but dead trees there. Someone ought to set fire to it and clean it out.
Well, you be careful, Buck. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you.
Ma, I'm sure going to be dying of starvation soon if
sakes alive, I clean forgot. You stay here now and put you something to eat right away. It'll take but a few minutes.
All right, Ma, I'll be here.
You're sure you haven't had trouble, Buck?
Nothing to worry about. Why, Dot?
I just wondered, that's all.
You got something on your mind, sis. Out with it.
No, I'm just a fool to worry. Please forget it.
Hey, look here. How'd Tuttle take it when you left him?
Well...
Was he ugly about it?
Well, he...
Was he? Tell me the truth, Dottie.
Look, Buck, please don't get all excited about Ike Tuttle. Don't even think about it.
If that ornery
You've
cuss...
got to be careful, though. I didn't like the way he acted. About you, I mean.
About me?
I've been worried about it ever since I left. He knows that there isn't any other job you can get. And he knows that if you lose your job as a pony rider, it will mean that I'll have to go back to work for him. So please watch out.
Tuttle can't hurt me.
Well, I don't see what he could do to you, but just the same, you've got to be awful careful. I know how clever Tuttle is when he starts making plans.
He needn't try any of his tricks.
Oh, who's that, you suppose?
You sit still, sis. I'll see who it is. Why, Mr. Peters.
Oh, hello, Buck. Just dropped in to say hello.
Dottie, this here's Mr. Peters. He's the district supervisor that got me the job.
Glad to know you, Miss Dottie.
Oh, we're sure mighty proud of having a pony rider in the family, Mr. Peters. And I guess you're the man we've got to thank for it.
We're always on the lookout for honest young men with a lot of nerve.
Sit down, won't you? Hey, Ma, come in here a minute.
In a minute.
You'll have a bite to eat with us, won't you?
Well, no, Buck. I have to get along in just a minute. Just thought I'd stop by and see how you like the job now that you've got it.
No, I wouldn't swap places with any man alive.
Good enough.
You called me, Buck.
Ma, this is Mr. Peters. I've told you about him.
Oh, Mr. Peters, I'm right glad to know you.
Well, how do you do, ma'am?
I'm right glad you're here, Mr. Peters, because there's one thing that's been worrying me no end.
Well, I'd be downright pleased with the chance to relieve you of any worry.
Well, I hear that there's a lot of risk in the work that Buck is doing.
Well, there's risk in anything. Pony riding's the same as cattle raising or farming. Well, there's risk in living.
Oh, I mean those terrible savage Indians and the highwaymen that want to rob the mail and all.
Oh, those aren't the risks, ma'am. I don't think a pony rider has to worry too much about those things.
No? Oh, I'm sure glad to hear that.
I told you, Ma.
There is one danger, though.
Oh.
A pony rider has a mighty responsible job. He carries mail that's valuable and mail that must go through. The biggest enemy of a pony rider is the pony rider himself.
Huh?
Well, what do you mean, Mr. Peters?
Just that. I'm not worried about you, Buck. I reckon you'll think a good long time before you sell out the government and the mail service.
Sell out?
I mean, well, just this. Sometimes men would like to steal the government mail. It's pretty hard to do that if the pony rider's honest. They might try to bribe a man.
I'd like to see him try that with me. By ginger, if they did, I'd fix him.
No, we aren't worried about you, Buck. Well, I'll be going along now. I've got a couple of errands to do around town, and then I'll want to get on my way before sunup.
You needn't worry that I'll sell out, Mr. Peters.
Having met your folks, Buck, I'm not worried.
The Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, stayed close to Tuttle's cafe, and they were on their guard when a hard-faced stranger entered the place. A few minutes later, Tuttle and the stranger were seated at a corner table, and...
You see for yourself what's happened here, Bart. My business has fallen almost to nothing.
Well, Tuttle, you should know that no one ever came here for liking you.
Never mind your smart remarks, Bart. Just pay attention to what I tell you.
Said you had a scheme for me to make some cash.
I have. I gotta have that girl back here singing or go broke.
I hear she won't come back.
She will if her brother loses his job.
It ain't likely he'll lose it, though. Or is it?
It's likely he will. If you do what you're told and don't muddle things. Now, I can handle most everything myself. But there's one thing I need you for.
Go ahead, Tuttle.
I'm fixing a story about Buck being bribed to lose the mail. I want him to come in here with a story about being robbed. He'll deny it when he's charged with losing the mail on purpose and claim he don't know nothing about it. But when bribe money's found on him, he'll be jailed.
I reckon my part is to do the robbing, huh?
Just so.
Why don't you let me shoot him? That'd put a stop to his earning cash.
Yeah. If that happened, everyone would take up a collection for his ma. I gotta disgrace the kid and have him jailed. Then that'll need cash for defending him and get back to work. I'll go over the plans with you later. You see that Peters has just come in. I'll have a talk with him. Howdy, Peters. Just the man I wanted to see.
You wanted to see me? Well, what about, Tuttle?
Well, you know how it is when men get to drinking. Sometimes they say things they wouldn't say when they're sober.
What's that to do with me?
I reckon it has to do with you and the talk deals with robbing the Pony Express, don't it?
What do you mean?
Oh, if you're being sore about it, I won't say no more. I only
Speak up, Tuttle.
Ain't any too much to say. I'm just slipping a warning to you. Don't trust your new rider too far.
Who?
Grant.
Buck Grant?
That's all I gotta say.
If you're accusing him, Tuttle, tell the rest and be quick about it. Come on now.
All right. Let go of me now, Paul.
Start talking.
You think Buck Grant's such a swell fella. I'll tell you a few things and prove I'm right.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. When Buck was ready to start out, he was surprised to find that Peters was still in town and waiting for him at the express office.
I hope nothing's gone wrong, Mr. Peters.
Oh, nothing's gone wrong yet, Grant. I'm going to stay around here for a few days, though, and check on things.
Maybe you'll be here when I get back again.
Oh, maybe I will.
Gee, that'll be swell. You'll have to try Ma's cooking then.
Here comes the last rider.
Right on time. I'll see you in a couple of days.
I'll be here.
The Pony Rider raced in on a foam-flecked horse. Buck was already in the saddle, and the light mail bags were transferred to his mount. A moment later, and he was on his way.
Get up! Get over there! Get over there!
Well, Peters, there he goes.
Oh, you here, huh, Tuttle?
Step over here. It won't do for the station men to hear what I say.
Tuttle, I'd just as soon not hear anything more out of you.
Oh, is that so?
I think you're lying. I heard a few things about you.
Yeah?
You'd like to see Grant thrown out of a job so his sister would go back to work for you, wouldn't you?
I reckon she'd have to do plenty of asking before I'd hire her back after the way she left me flat.
Oh.
Suit yourself. If you want to trust young Grant to turn down a nice hunk of money for himself and fetch a meal back here in a couple of days, go right ahead, Peters. I passed on what I heard, and you can do what you like about it.
I'm doing what I like about it.
Help, robbers, thieves!
What's that?
Peters, come on, fast!
Stand back.
What? He's stealing mail sacks. Stop him. He's going out the back of the shack.
Don't make me use this gun. Stand right where you are.
You'll hang for this. Stop him. Shoot.
Where'd he come from? Who was that man?
I don't know. He was in here when I come in, after putting the horse in the shed.
Was there anything in those mail sacks he took?
No, they was empty. But the ID's the same. He stole from the government.
So he did.
Well, do something, Mr. Peters. Get a posse. Get after him.
Let's wait a while, Hank. Maybe the mail sacks will turn up without sending out a posse.
Jumpin' Juniper. Ain't you mad about it?
Why, sure I'm mad about it. He shouldn't scare you like that, Hank. I'll bet you almost felt the bullets from his gun, huh?
Come on, Silver!
The Lone Ranger raced out of town and across the plains until he reached a small woods where Tonto was waiting.
I have the mail pouches, Tonto.
Not good.
It's going to take the hardest kind of travel for a horse's Kimasabi. Those crooks will plan to stop young Grant in Deadwood Forest.
Not right.
That means I must stop him east of here when he's on his way back. Then I've got to follow him to this point and outrun him between here and town.
You catch up to Pony Rider horse?
Tonto, we can't expect too much of Silver. That's why I'm going to leave him here with you. I'll take your horse.
Silver faster than Scout.
I know. I'll save Silver for the last part of the trip. You camp right here. I'll want Silver well rested and ready for the fastest run he's ever made.
Now you ride Scout, huh?
Yes. Come on, Scout!
As Buck Grant neared Deadwood Forest on his return trip, a masked man cut in from the side of the trail and...
Come on, Scout! What the... Grant, rein up! I want to speak to you!
Masked! Get along there! Get along!
Rein up! I must speak to you!
Get back or I'll start shooting!
You can't hit a mark at that speed!
Can't, huh?
No! Rein up and listen to me!
Get back, I tell you!
Stop! I'll stop you then!
Let go that bridle! Let go!
Hold there! Oh, boy!
You'll do life in jail. This is United States mail.
That's why I'm interested. Now listen to me.
You dare touch this mail, you'll pay for it with your life.
Will you listen? Do you want your sister to go back and dance and sing at Tuttle's place?
Don't you mention my sister.
Well, that's where she's going if you don't listen to me. Take these sacks. I'll take the mail.
I'll see you dead first.
I'd better take that gun. You'll only make trouble with it.
See here, you try that.
That's better. Now take these punches and get on your way. You're going to be stopped again, but don't say that I have the mail. This mail is going through. Come on, Scout! Faster, boy, faster!
On the Lone Ranger raced at top speed, urging the tiring paint toward the west.
Come on, boy, come on!
At last he reached the woods where Tonto waited with the great horse Silver. Scout had done his part and...
Take Scout, Tonto. Rest him. I'll join you later on. I want to make sure everything turns out as it should.
You got mail?
Right here. Throw these pouches on, Silver.
Me take
It's up to you now, Silver, old fellow. You're racing against the best. Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Ike Tuttle and Bart waited just outside the express office in town then.
You sure you can count on them pards of yours?
Being as they don't get paid off till they done the job, I reckon I can.
They'll likely find a plenty that's worth their while to them in the mail sacks.
They don't get all that. That's mine. They get just what I agreed to pay them.
That's your worry, Bart. As long as they take the mail, that's all I care about.
How about getting the cash on Grant?
Ain't going to have no trouble putting it in his pocket. I'll put it there right after he gets to the station, and before he can tell about being robbed.
If you don't prove that he's been bribed, you won't get nowhere with your scheme.
I'll prove it, don't you worry. Yeah, I reckon I'll mosey over toward the station. I see Dot and her ma there already.
Luck to you.
I won't even need luck. That's how this thing has been worked out. It can't miss. Yeah, see you later. Hi there, Miss Dottie.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tuttle.
Now, Miss Dot. You needn't be holding a grudge again me. Oh, I'm sorry I spoke up quick like when you left working for me.
Your apologies accepted, Mr. Tuttle.
There. Now I'm right glad there's no more hard feelings.
None at all, ma'am. Fact is, any time I can do anything for you or Miss Dottie or your son Buck, I'd be glad to do it.
There's only one thing you can do for us, and that's to leave us alone.
Oh, no,
You
Miss
needn't
Dottie.
think I'm going back to work for you, Mr. Tuttle, because I'm not.
What are you doing here, Tuttle? Long ways from your cafe, ain't it?
I got a right to be here, ain't I?
Oh, can't stop you if you want to stay here.
Maybe I'm expecting mail on the Pony Express. Maybe something with a right important letter with cash draft on a New York bank in it. Mighty important to me, and I'd hate to lose it.
Oh, I don't think you'll lose it if it's in the mail.
You still figure Grant's on the level, huh?
We'll see.
What's that he said?
Why, Tuttle here has an idea that your son is going to turn out dishonest.
Why, you ornery, slinking, loose-tongued polecat.
I wouldn't say a lot of things you might have to take back, Miss Grant.
I'll never take back anything I call you if you hint that Buck's crooked.
Suit yourself, ma'am. Oh, by the way, Peters, there's a sheriff over yonder. I told him to stick around and not go too far from here.
Why?
You, might want him to make an arrest. What the?
There. I've heard about all I can stand from you.
Slap me, huh? Why, you hot-tempered little...
Now, that'll do, Tuttle. You had that coming.
All right. And if I had that coming, Buck Grant's got jail coming as sure as I'm standing here.
You warned me.
I heard what I heard. I told you I had something on the Pony Express. Well, I heard plans to rob that Pony Express. It was all fixed to pay $200 in gold to Buck Grant for letting himself be robbed.
That's a lie.
We'll see about that. Need be, I can produce a friend of mine who heard the same thing I did. He's over there right now.
The Pony Rider's coming. Look.
There he is, Ma. There comes Buck.
Fetch out the relief. Bring out the new horse and rider.
Coming right out. Get along there, son.
There's two riders. There's one on a white horse riding with Buck.
Why, so there is.
You better have a look at them mail sacks, Peters.
I will. You needn't worry, Tuttle.
Hi there, Buck. Hi.
Here's the mail.
Now, hold on. We're going to delay the mail for a minute.
Wow, what a trip I had, Mr. Peters.
Who's the masked man?
Oh, Mr. Peters, this is a friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
He stole their mail sacks from the station.
That's right. I'll pay for him, Mr. Peters.
What about the mail? What about it?
I'm checking it, Tuttle.
You just try and say that it was stolen, Grant. We know all about your scheme.
What's that, Tuttle?
You've been bribed. We know all about it. You're all set to lie and say that you was held up and robbed. And all the time you got cash in your pocket as a bribe.
Now, did I say I was robbed?
You hadn't better.
Whatever gave you the notion I was held up and robbed? Them sacks are all right, ain't they, Mr. Peters?
They are. The seals are not broken.
What?
And there is no mail marked for this town, Tuttle. Maybe the letter you want will come on the next mail.
You mean to say you wasn't robbed?
No, I wasn't robbed. What made you think I was?
Search him. See if there ain't bribe money in his pocket.
You try and search me.
My thunder, Tuttle. What?
By any chance, did you plan to have him robbed, and then put money in his pocket to make it look as if he'd been bribed?
Now, wait. I don't savvy this. Who are you?
Just a friend of Buck's. If you did slip money in his pocket, you'll have to admit it in order to get it back.
Now, hold on. There's something wrong here.
I don't see why you're so confused, Tuttle. The mail's here, safe and sound, just as I knew it would be.
But I heard...
We holding this mail up all day?
No. Get it going. Get it headed west.
There you are. You got your pouches, Sonny. Get up there. Come on, boy. Get up.
Well, Tuttle, have you any more to say?
Look.
That is...
Look. I found gold in my pocket.
Buck, where'd that money come from?
Gosh,
That gold is...
What do you know about it, Tuttle?
Well, my pard over yonder heard about a bribe. He's the one
Well, I never heard about a bribe. And if this cash is in my pocket, I reckon it's mine. Till someone proves it ain't.
You claim the money, Tuttle?
No. But it's a bribe. I heard... Well, my pal heard that...
Did anyone hand you a bribe?
No.
All right.
I was stopped, but all the crooks got was some empty mail pouches. That masked man took the full ones and gave me the empties. And after some armies had taken the empties, the masked man returned the full ones to me. Now, if there's cash owing for the pouches he borrowed, I reckon I can pay for it out of this money I found in my pocket.
We still heard about
Tuttle.
you...
Buck's word to me as to how a thing happens is worth the word of a dozen like you and your pard over there. I reckon the two of you are washed up for a long time to come.
Hail, Silver, away!
just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Night Beat is coming up next on Nightly Old Time Radio Shows.
Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the Night Beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start in many different ways. This one began when I bumped into a little old man who claimed he was dead, and proved it.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
My job is to prowl Chicago at night looking for that ever-loving story that's always out there in the darkness waiting for me. But, like most working stiffs, one day a week, I'm a free man, and this was that day. It was one of those hot spring days that come at you out of nowhere. Hot like only Chicago and one other place can get. I woke up late in the afternoon and went outside for a breath of humidity. I opened my collar and rolled up my sleeves. Man, it was sizzling. There was a little park ahead. I was just going to stretch out on the grass when I saw him. My first thought was, pass the salt tablets quick, the sun's got me and I'm seeing things. But no, he was real, all right. Sitting on a park bench on this boiling day, a fat old guy in a heavy overcoat with muffler, galoshes, and gloves. I went over to him. He looked up and smiled.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Sit down. Sit down. You look tired.
Thank you, yeah.
Nothing is worth getting tired for. Man is here for such a little while.
Yeah. Look, forgive me for bringing this up, but I think it's only fair to tell you, at this moment, the temperature in this city is pretty close to 100 degrees.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. For 2 cents, I'd trade everything I'm wearing for one hard shafter and Mark's fig leaf.
You are lucky, young man. To feel the good sun, yes, that is something fine. As for me, I am chilled to the bone.
In that overcoat and that muffler?
Yes.
How could any living thing be cold on a day like this?
I suppose that is just it.
What?
I'm not a living thing. No, I'm afraid I'm quite dead. I think I'll walk around a bit. Goodbye.
Say. I suppose I'm just inquisitive, but you see, that's my business. I'm a newspaper man.
Oh, yes. An honorable profession.
Oh, thank you. Why do you think you're dead?
Think? So you don't believe me either?
Yeah, it's silly, isn't it? When did you die?
The funeral was last week. A very nice funeral. I regret only that there were no plumed horses.
Plumed horses?
In the old country, that was a requirement for the head of a family. But in America, of course, such customs seem foolish.
Yeah, foolish.
You still don't believe me?
Well, let's say that I'm just an old skeptic.
All right, young man. To doubt everything in this life is to miss so much of life's true magnificence. You need a lesson. Come with me.
So I went with him, this strange man so comfortable in an overcoat on this oppressive day. We stopped at the first large office building and went into the lobby. The old man took me to the directory on the wall.
Can you find the name of a doctor?
A doctor? Why do you want a doctor?
You will see.
Yes, there's a Dr. E.M. Herrick, suite 706.
Is he good?
I don't know. He's the only one listed.
He doesn't have to be too good. Come on.
The receptionist in the doctor's suite eyed us quite distastefully, but in a reasonable time we were ushered into Dr. Herrick's presence. He was a nice little fella, but the sight of the old man seemed to confuse him.
Now, just what seems to be the trouble, Mr.
Henry Kazarian.
Yes. Well,
I want you to examine me and tell the newspaper man what you find.
Newspaper man? Well, I'm afraid I don't understand.
And I'm afraid I can't help you, Doc. Why not examine him and let it go then?
Yes, please do.
But what seems to be the trouble with you? What are your symptoms?
My symptoms were discovering the world no longer needed me. That can be very painful.
Oh, but this isn't anything to...
Oh, come on, Doc, will you? It's my day off. Let's get it over with.
All right. Now, Mr. Kazarian, take off your overcoat and shirt.
The old guy undressed to the waist. His skin looked yellow and faded, but I figured that could happen to anyone his age. The doctor smiled, fastened his stethoscope to his ears, and began his examination. I put a cigarette in my mouth, but I never lit that cigarette. I was watching the doctor. I was watching the color drain from his face. I was watching his fingers start shaking like he was trying to make 9 the hard way. The doctor touched the stethoscope to a dozen parts of the old man's chest. Now he looked up, and it seemed to me, in those few seconds, he'd aged 10 years.
Mr. Kazarian, I want you to wait in the next room.
Now, what did you find, Doctor? I'm sure the newspaper man would be most interested.
I told you to wait in the next room. Take your coat and shirt. I'll be right with you.
Yes, all right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
I can't believe it. It's impossible. It's a trick, a hypnotic trick. No, that's not true.
Oh, you're not going to tell me that old man is really...
Not the slightest heartbeat.
What?
No cardiovascular reaction whatsoever. That man is...
Oh, no, this is crazy. Maybe it's your stethoscope. Maybe it's on the bum or something.
No, that's not the answer.
Then what is the answer? Are you trying to tell me that guy is really dead? Let's get him back in here. Let's talk to him.
Yes, by all means. He's gone.
But how?
This door leads into the hall. He's not in the hall. You're not going to print this in the paper, are you?
Print it? How could I? The city editor'd fire me so fast my head'd spin. He'd say I was dead drunk. But if you were to confirm...
No.
What?
Never. If you or your editor or anyone else ever calls me about this, I'll swear I never saw you or the old man before in all my life. I have to protect my reputation. You can understand that, can't you?
Understand? At this point, I understand very little, Herr Doctor. After I left the doctor's office, I looked around the building for the old man. He was gone, all right, but his memory lingered on. Who was fooling who? I went into a phone booth and called the medical association to ask about the professional standing of Dr. Herrick. A nasal-voiced young woman informed me that Dr. Herrick was one of the most able physicians in the city, and her manner indicated that I should have had my mouth washed out with soap for even asking. After that, I looked up the name Kazarian in the phone book. It was there, Henry Kazarian, 612 Post Street. I telephoned, but the line was busy, so I hopped into a cab and took a ride out. It was a neat little white bungalow, but all the shades were down. I rang the bell for a long time before the door opened.
Yes? What is it?
I'd like to talk to Henry Kazarian.
Who?
Henry Kazarian. Oh, what's wrong?
You have not heard about my Henry.
Hmm?
He is dead.
But, lady...
We buried him 2 days ago.
But that can't be.
Oh, I can't believe it myself. It seemed like I suddenly wake up and there would be Henry saying, "All right, Mama, get up. Get up. You're lazy. You're not for 3 wives."
He was buried 2 days ago?
Yeah, from Kirell's Temple of Rest. A very wonderful service. All that was lacking was the plumed horses.
The plumed horses?
Oh, yes. Papa, he would have been so mad if he knew there was no plumed horses.
Yes, he certainly was. I mean that, Mrs. Kazarian, I'd like to talk to you. May we go inside?
No,
but
we are in mourning. If you want to know about the funeral, talk to Mr. Carrera.
Yes, I buried Mr. Kazarian.
What he was?
Why, for the very trivial reason, Mr. Carell, that I spent the afternoon with him.
I'm a very busy man, Mr. Stone, very busy.
You think I'm crazy, huh? Well, I never saw Kazarian in my life, but here's how he looked to me this afternoon. A short, fat guy, about 65. Looks like he ate too much good food all his life. A mustache that just about drooped down to his chin. You look a little pale, Mr. Carell.
You saw his picture somewhere?
No! I tell you, he's alive. I even went with him to a doctor.
Oh, really? Well, my goodness. And what did the doctor say?
He,
Yes, Mr. Stone.
All right. Where is he buried?
At a cemetery at the edge of the city. I've got to go there on, another matter, if you care to come along.
Yes, indeed I would, Mr. Carell. Indeed I would.
Right here, Mr. Stone, this mound. You see, the earth is very fresh and the flowers have hardly wilted.
But listen, Mr. Carell, it can't be him.
Mr. Stone, the only reason I'm doing this is to avoid any stupid, sensational publicity. Carell's Temple of Rest is one of the most highly respected...
Yes, and Dr. Herrick is one of the most highly respected doctors, and Mrs. Kazarian is a grieving widow. There's got to be a logical answer to this. There's just got to be.
You are listening to Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
When the undertaker brought me back to town, I called an insurance clearinghouse to find out if anyone had cashed in a policy on Mr. Kazarian. No, Mr. Kazarian didn't carry any insurance, so that wasn't the answer. I was beginning to get a little panicky. It was after 6 o'clock and I wasn't a bit hungry. I started walking home to see if I could figure out one thing in all that happened that made even a little sense. Best I could come up with was that everybody was right, that Kazarian really was dead. I was, too, and I didn't know it yet. I laughed a great deal at that. But just the same, I weighed myself on the first penny scale I passed, and I looked at my tongue in the little mirror. I was just a couple of blocks away from home, and I felt somebody tugging at my sleeve.
Mister,
Mm-hmm.
What's the matter? You hot or something?
What are you talking about?
Somebody's following you.
Following me? An old guy wearing an overcoat?
No, a young fella.
What?
Don't look back yet, but he's wearing a blue sport jacket and he's built like an aircraft carrier.
How long has he been following me?
For the last few blocks?
All right. Here. Take this and then get lost.
Sure. Thanks, mister. I figured you ought to know.
I kept walking along, and after a while I spotted his reflection. If only 1/4 of those shoulders in that blue sport jacket were really his, I was in trouble. I stopped to light a cigarette. He stopped to tie his shoelace. I wiped the perspiration off my face. He smiled. No, he wasn't following me. It's just my imagination. I turned down a quiet street a few blocks from my rooming house. I looked back. Nobody. I found it was much easier to breathe. And then up ahead of me, somebody was waiting at the corner. Yup, shoulders. He'd circled around the other side of the block. Oh, great. I started walking past him like he wasn't even there.
Mister,
On.
let me say it just once.
Sure.
Lay off.
Fine. Goodbye now.
I mean it. Lay off.
Now you've said it twice.
Leave it alone. It's none of your business.
I presume we're both talking about the same thing. The little man who wasn't there, Kazarian. What's the story on this guy? What's the gimmick? How can he be dead and buried?
Mister, I ask you real nice and polite.
Yeah, I know. Emily Post couldn't have done it better. But still, I'm going to find out.
You're not going to find anything. You're not going to find a thing.
After a while, I started climbing out of the fog. And the way I felt, I wanted to climb right back in. All I had to worry about was history's most promising headache. It was after 9 o'clock when I got to my room. I took a couple of aspirins, flopped across the bed, and tried to relax. Only the street lamp kept shining in my eyes. I got up to pull down the shade. Then I saw the gray sedan parked across the street. 3 guys piled out. They started toward the rooming house. And leading the way was my old pal Shoulders, back for an encore. I headed for the back stairs. I went across a couple of backyards, came out on a side street, and now I was starting to get sore. I found a taxi and headed back for Kazarian's house. Taxi let me out about half a block down the street. Kazarian's house was all dark except for a tiny window in back. I went around to the window and looked in. And there was the old man. He was sitting in a leather chair, smoking a pipe. I tapped on the window. He turned, recognized me, and smiled. And someone out in front of the house spotted me.
There he is. Where?
I started running toward the backyard. They were right on my tail. I came to a fence. I found the gate. It was locked. Shoulders, who was heading the pack, was the first to reach me.
You just won't stop, will you, Mr. Snoop?
No, I guess not. I tore away from him. Ran down the length of the backyard fence, tried to find an opening. The others were coming up fast. I told myself I could never jump over that fence, but with those guys closing in, I was a hard man to convince. And the next thing I knew, I was crouching behind a couple of garbage cans in the alley. And I thought, what a fine way to die, behind a garbage can, my lifeblood draining out on some old melon rinds.
He couldn't have gotten away. He must have.
I told you to stop him. And then the footsteps passed me. My heart decided it was okay to start beating again. And then I went back to the house, and I found the old man's window. It was dark now, like the rest of the house, but the window was open a few inches. I started pushing it up some more.
Who is that?
It's me, Randy Stone. I'm coming in.
I would not advise that, young man. Really, it is quite foolish.
Yeah, nobody knows that better than I. I'd appreciate it if you didn't call for help.
Why should I?
Where's the light switch? Oh, yeah. I see you're not wearing your overcoat now, nor your gloves. You're not so cold now, huh?
No. Isn't that strange here in the house? I do not feel it nearly so much.
Yeah, that is funny.
Why are you coming toward me like that?
I want to shake your hand, Mr. Kazarian, just a gesture of friendliness.
But somehow you do not look at all friendly.
Your hand.
Surely.
I thought so. It's as warm as mine. Very nice pulse, too. What's the story, Mr. Kazarian?
Oh, you are mistaken, young man. I am dead.
How were you able to fool that doctor? Why did the undertaker swear he buried you? Why is your wife in mourning? Why was I slugged?
But these are questions I cannot answer. I'm an old man, and I'm very tired. Oh, would you say I was impolite if I asked you to leave?
Oh, sure, I'll leave. Would you say I was impolite if I asked you where I could find the nearest police station? Because that's where I'm going.
You're not going anywhere, Stone.
Papa, I told you to holler for us if he bothered you.
I knew there would be trouble. I just knew it.
Dr. Herrick.
Life is full of trouble. Death is endless peace.
If this gets in the paper, it'll be the end of everything. Oh, and Mr. Correll of the Temple of Rest. What a spot for a chorus of Auld Lang Syne.
You keep real quiet, Stone.
Oh, that's a deal, Shoulders.
Well, I wish you would all leave. In my lifetime, I saw none of you. Now that I am dead, you crowd around me like vultures.
Yes, Papa, we leave just so you shouldn't get excited. Come, boys.
Well,
Come,
leave
boys.
me in peace. Huh? Leave me in peace.
Papa likes to sit by himself sometime. George, you stop looking so tough. Nobody's afraid of you. Peter, why you just stand here and all? Go to the kitchen, put up hot water for tea.
Yes, Mama. Mama? Corell, you call her Mama?
Of course,
Go to the kitchen, Peter, all of you. Go. I will explain to the young man.
Perhaps I should do it, Mama.
Mama again, you too, Dr. Herrick?
Yes.
I explain, Armand. You only use big doctor words. Nobody understand. Now, all of you, go. I said go to the kitchen. And, George, the bread box is some baklava. You serve with the tea.
Yes, Mama.
Mama.
And you, young man, you come in here, into parlor.
Yes, Mama.
And we will close the door. Now, I will tell you everything.
So they're your sons?
Yeah. Well, fine boys. The Papa and I, we would have liked at least one girl.
The doctor and the undertaker. Now it begins to make sense, but their names.
For their work, they said they need American names. The whole country to name Caesarea. Young man, that was our name. Meant something.
But here it's got to be Corell and Herrick, Tell me about Papa.
Yeah, excuse me. 1910, Papa and me and the kids, we come to America. Even though in old country, Papa's head of whole Caesarian clan, we come. So kids go to school. Become more than gold herders, rug merchants. And they too. My boys too. But they marry, they drift away. Soon Papa and I are alone. And if the kids come over once every 2 months to see Papa, we think we are lucky. Imagine that, Papa Kassarian head of whole family. And then last week, it started with Papa. I heard alarm clock go off. And I got up like I always do, sleepy, thinking, old country exists for so many thousand years without alarm clocks. Why we need, huh? Why I shut alarm clock? Oh, Papa, Papa, where are you? I hurried to the house, and I found him in the kitchen, sitting at table in overcoat. Papa, so here you are. You feel all right.
For dead man, I feel all right.
For a dead man, you should not talk like that, Papa. You got many years ahead of you.
I got eternity ahead of me. You call my sons. You tell them Papa is dead.
You feel sick, huh? I call Arman. He's a fine doctor.
Oh, woman, listen to me. I am not sick. I am dead. Do not call Armand the fine doctor. Call my son Peter the fine undertaker. Do as I say. Tell them Papa is dead.
Papa, this is nonsense. I've given you a complete examination. You're not dead. You're in perfect health.
You I do not need any more. Peter, you give me a good funeral. I want plumed horses.
Papa, don't talk like that. You don't need any funeral.
What am I to do? Just sit here? A dead man?
You see, boys, you see how it is, eh?
Sometimes happens in a man of his age. Might be only temporary. I think we should put him in a sanitarium.
No!
Huh?
Are you forgetting who Papa is, the head of whole family?
Mama, in his present
Also,
condition.
the old country here in America, everywhere, the Kassarians, he's the head. Oh, just think what happened if they heard Papa had gone crazy.
But we could keep it quiet, Mama.
No. News get out somewhere. It would be the end of everything.
But, Mama...
wait, Mama's right. I've been thinking of something else.
Yes?
What about us, you and me? We've got our careers to think of.
But I told you, these things are only temporary.
All the more reason for not putting Papa away. If it's only temporary, then why can't we care for him here?
Well, I suppose we could.
Papa, where are you going?
Where can the dead man go? To walk the streets?
Don't let him out. Humor, do something, Armand.
Papa, I don't think you'd better go out. After all, maybe you really are dead, like you say. And in that case...
Papa, I'll give you a wonderful funeral. You'll see the best in town.
With plumed horses?
Yes, Papa, plumed horses, if you'll only do what we tell you. And stay in the house.
Mama Kazarian didn't have to tell me any more. They humored Papa so that he'd stay in the house, hoping his madness would pass, and his family and the rest of the clan would not be disgraced. But one morning he escaped, and that's when I met him. When he took me to his son, Dr. Herrick, and told him I was a newspaper man, the doc thought everything was about to fall apart, so he went along with Papa's madness. And so did Carell and the others. That's why I was followed. That's why Shoulders slugged me. That's why they all came to my room later to try to talk to me. I promised to keep their confidence, ate some of Mama's cookies, shook hands all around, and left. But as I was walking through the yard toward the street, a window opened.
Young man?
Come
over here. Over to the window.
Oh, Mr. Kazarian. Okay, sure.
If you keep your voice down, I don't want them to hear. But you are a nice young man. I feel in you an understanding. That is why I talked to you in the park. That is why I talk to you now.
What do you mean?
They tell you now, how I say I am cracked in the head, insane, because I say I am dead. Maybe so, but let me tell you this. For 22 years, while I was not dead, and while I was sane, I worked 12, 14 hours a day and never saw the sun. I never had time to think, to remember the old days. Only working, work. Then my boys left me. And even my name they don't want. The name Kazarian. And then Mama and me was left alone. Yeah, that was the way it was when I was sane and alive. So, one morning I wake up and I say, okay, if that is how it is when I'm alive, I no longer wish to be alive. I am dead. Now, my sons come fast, I tell you. They say, no, he is not dead. He is insane. All right, I am too old to argue. But now that I am insane, I no longer lift even this little finger. No work, no worry. And my boys stay with us constantly, like the old days. I snap my fingers and they shiver. Now, today I think maybe Armand is getting too smart again, so I bring you to his office. Did you see what happens? Did you see what happened?
Why, you old faker.
So, what do you say I should do? Should I call them in and say, okay, I am not dead, I'm alive, and give up everything I got now, so they can say I am sane again? Well, should I, young man? Should I?
Oh, Papa, if you did that, it would only prove one thing.
And what is that?
Well, if you called them in and told them the truth, you'd be the craziest man alive. All this and a moral, too, huh? All right, I'll give you a moral. All Papa Kazarian wanted was not to be left out in the cold. I guess maybe that's just about what all of us want. To be needed by somebody, to be loved by somebody. And why not? Is that such a big deal? In all this cockeyed, crazy world, what else do any of us ever really have? Except each other. Copy boy... Oh, no, what am I saying? Copy boy. This was my day off. Remember?
Night Beat, a new dramatic series, stars Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. Night Beat is written and edited by Larry Marcus and directed by Warren Lewis. Music is by Frank Worth. Papa was played by Ben Wright. Betty Lou Gerson played Mama. Others in tonight's cast were Jeff Corey, Lou Krugman, and Paul Duboff. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production Rock Bottom, released by Warner Brothers. Listen next week at this same time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. The stories that come out of the shadows to find their way into Night Beat. March is Red Cross Month. One of the most important of the many services performed by the Red Cross is its aid to our armed forces. In this country and overseas, in military hospitals, Red Cross workers, aided by thousands of volunteers, play an increasingly vital part in meeting the needs of the patient. Remember, your contribution to the Red Cross will help the men in whose hands our nation's security may rest. There's more great action-packed entertainment for you throughout the week on NBC. Other mystery adventure programs include such popular shows as Dragnet, High Adventure, and Christopher London. Now, stay tuned for Brian Donlevy as a soldier of fortune on Dangerous Assignment on NBC.
Up next on Nightly Old Time Radio shows, enjoy the adventures of Nick Carter, Master Detective.
case for Nick Carter, Master Detective.
Yes, it's another case for that most famous of all manhunters, the detective whose ability at solving crime is unequaled in the history of detective fiction, Nick Carter, Master Detective. Tonight's curious adventure.
The Double Disguise. For Nick Carter and the mystery of the kidnapped heiress.
Pardon me. Could you tell me which way to Bond Avenue, please?
Bond Avenue? Why, yes. We'll just walk 3 blocks
Okay,
straight
mister.
ahead.
There's a stick-up.
What?
Yeah. Hand it over and be quick about it.
And what over?
Your wallet, of course. Come on.
Oh, come now. Isn't it quite late in the evening for this sort of thing?
There's nothing funny about this. I mean business.
You haven't been in the business very long, have you?
That's enough talk. Just hand it over. Hand it over, I'll shoot.
You really would shoot me, would you?
Yes. This is your last chance. Please, I don't want to have to kill you.
Okay. But you won't find very much.
All
right, I'll take that toy pistol now. There.
Oh. You knew all the while.
Sure. Would have fooled most people, but you just happened to pick on the wrong man. I'm Nick Carter.
Nick Carter? Gosh, I guess I did. My name is Brown. Chester Brown.
Well, Mr. Brown, let's have it. What's the story? You're no gunman.
Oh, you're right, Mr. Carter. I've never done this sort of thing before.
Now, why'd you try to hold me up, then?
Oh, I was desperate. I've been out of work for 3 months now.
In times like these?
Yes, I know, but I'm a salesman. There's no need for them now.
How about manual work?
I tried that, but my heart isn't very strong.
Oh, I see. Married?
Yes. I was married 6 months ago.
Where do you live?
We live in a couple of rooms in a boarding house. Only a few blocks from here, Mr. Carter. Why do you ask?
I'd like to go home with you and meet your wife.
Oh, that means you aren't going to turn me over to the police.
No, not yet, at least.
Oh, thanks.
But one never knows, Mr. Brown. Let's go.
Right this way, Mr. Carter. Stella! Oh, Stella! Stella! That's strange. She isn't home.
Maybe she went out for a while.
At this time of night? She'd be back by now. What does it mean?
Well, it probably doesn't mean much. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a note. Perhaps this will explain things.
Here, let me have it. Dear Chet, I'll be gone for a few days. Don't worry about me. All our troubles will soon be over. We're coming into a fortune. I can't explain any more now. You're Stella.
Well, congratulations.
Ah, look what's enclosed.
$100 bill. May I see it, please?
Oh, here you are. Gosh, I can't believe it. It's too good to be true.
Tell me, Mr. Brown, is your wife any rich relatives?
Rich relatives? Never heard her speak of any. Mother and father no longer living. Well, she has an uncle, a man by the name of James Spear. He lives somewhere out in Colorado. Maybe it's he.
Yes, maybe.
What are you doing, Mr. Carter?
Just checking the number on this bill against a list I have here.
But why? What is it?
Mr. Brown, I'm afraid my congratulations were a bit premature.
What do you mean?
Have you read the evening paper?
No, I haven't seen a paper all day. Why?
Michael Stillfield, the banker, was murdered last night. $10,000 was stolen from his private vault in one of the cleverest safe-cracking jobs seen here in years.
Yeah, what's that got to do with this?
The stolen money consisted of $100 bills.
So what?
The bill your wife left for you was one of those stolen by the murderer.
Oh, but Mr. Carter, she had nothing to do with that.
I feel sure of that, Mr. Brown.
Well, then why should you want to...
Suppose you went out tomorrow morning and tried to spend that bill. What would have happened?
Why, Oh, I see. I'd have probably been arrested as the murderer.
Exactly.
But why did she leave that bill for me?
Because she's as much a victim of this frame-up as you are. Brown, if my hunch is correct, someone's trying to make trouble for you and for her.
Oh, but Mr. Carter,
Now, look,
why
Brown,
should...
Don't ask questions yet. Just listen to me. Pack up a bag and get out of here tonight. Go to 73 Bleecker Avenue. That's a rooming house run by friends of mine on the other side of town. Sit tight until you hear from me. Don't tell anyone where you are and don't use your right name.
But suppose my wife comes back.
I said to leave it all in my hands.
Oh, but why
Now,
should I...
don't be a fool. If you don't follow my directions, you may be dead before morning.
So you don't think either Brown or his wife had anything to do with the murder, Nick?
No, Patsy, I don't. Too obvious a frame-up.
A frame-up?
Yes, don't you see? The murderer persuades Mrs. Brown to go somewhere with him on some pretext or other and gives her one of the stolen bills to leave for her husband, who's sure to be arrested if he tries to spend it.
But why should the murderer want to pin the job on Mr. Brown?
That I don't know the answer to, Patsy. Except that for some reason or other, he wants to get Brown out of the way. Hello?
Hello, Nick. I'm glad I found you in.
Oh, Riley, what is it?
You still say you're not interested in this Tillfield killing?
Well, as a matter of fact, Riley, something's happened since you spoke to me about it. I've changed my mind.
Oh, so you've heard already
Heard? What?
about the big Postal Express robbery down on Front Street. That's where I'm calling from.
I know, that's news to me. What did they get, Riley?
$40,000 in negotiable bonds. Right out of the vault, Nick.
Not bad.
Yes, and this is the interesting part.
Yeah?
Do you know who those bonds were being shipped to? Michael Stillfield.
Stillfield? Okay, Riley, thanks. I'll be right down. Well, Patsy, this thing gets more interesting by the minute. Let's go.
Here you are, Nick. Hello, Patsy.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Well, Riley, let's have a look.
Sure thing, Nick. Come on inside. Now, this is Mr. Johnson, Nick. He's in charge of the express office.
How do you do?
So glad you came, Mr. Carter. Nothing like this has happened in the 30 years I've been with the company.
Well, I suppose there's always a first time, Mr. Johnson.
That's the vault over there, Mr. Carter.
Oh, thanks. Certainly don't come any finer.
That's true, Mr. Carter. Absolutely burglar-proof. Or so we thought.
Was anything else taken?
No, just the bonds. And they're as good as cash, you know.
When did you discover that they were missing?
This morning. They were put in that vault last night. I watched the bookkeeper do it myself.
I see. And you were the one who closed the vaults?
That's right. I closed it and adjusted the time mechanism myself.
Well, seems to be intact.
That's just it, Mr. Carter. I can't understand it. Neither the vault lock nor the time attachment have been tampered with.
It looks like the devil's own work.
It's absolutely incredible, Mr. Carter. But there you have it. The safe was open and the bonds are gone.
Well, what do you make of it, Nick?
There aren't many men who could have pulled off this kind of a job.
Oh, you're right there, Nick. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody but Nick Carter who could have done it. He's that handy with locks of all kinds.
You have some idea, Mr. Carter?
You say the bonds were put in the vault last night.
Yes, that's right.
About what time would you say?
Well, we received them from the west on the 5 o'clock train.
Hey, did you say from the west?
Well, yes, they came from Colorado.
And they were addressed to Michael Stillfield?
That's right. And they were put in the vault a little after 5. And as you already know, that's the last we were seen of them.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I don't think we need bother you any further.
I do hope you'll be able to track down that thief.
It's more than a thief you've put me on the track of. The man we're looking for, Mr. Johnson, is a murderer.
Hey, what was that stuff you were giving Johnson about looking for a murderer, Nick?
That's exactly what I meant, Riley.
You mean there's a connection between the murder of Michael Stillfield and this robbery, Nick?
You catch on fast, Patsy.
How do you figure it, Nick?
Well, in both cases, it was Stillfield's property that was stolen. And in both cases, there was a remarkable safe-cracking job, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Looks like it could be the same ones, all right.
And you recall where Johnson said those bonds came from?
Yes, from Colorado, Nick.
Well, sure, I remember his saying that, but what's that got to do with it?
Just a hunch, Riley. By judging by the way these two safes were broken into, I think I know who probably did it.
Who?
Clint Bartow.
Clint Bartow?
Oh, you're having me believing the dead come to life again, Nick. Why, don't you remember? He was reported dead 5 years ago up in Canada someplace.
Yes, but where Clint Bartow's concerned, I don't have much faith in that kind of a report. He's the most dangerous and resourceful criminal on the continent. Riley, I wouldn't be surprised that he had that report circulated purposely.
Well, now, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Furthermore, I suggest you make a thorough check on the background of Michael Stillfield, the murdered banker. An idea there may be some interesting facts turned up.
Okay, Nick. It's as good as done.
When you get the information... Well,
What is it, Nick?
we're being followed.
Huh? Well, not for long we won't be. Now just let
No,
me...
wait a minute. I want to handle this my own way, Riley. You continue on the way you're going. Patsy and I'll turn up this side street.
Okay, Nick. I'll be seeing you. So long.
So long, Riley.
Lieutenant.
All right, Patsy, come along this way.
Is he still following, Nick?
Yeah. He's hanging on, all right. Here. Into this doorway here.
Okay. Now what?
Well, just wait. He'll be along. Yeah, here he comes now. Stay here, Patsy.
Be careful, Nick.
Hey, you, what's the idea of following me?
What? Who? Me?
Yes, you. You've been tailing me ever since... Oh, no, you don't.
Hey, let go of me.
Ah.
I ain't done nothing, mister.
No, not yet you haven't. Now talk, my friend. And let's hear something interesting.
Okay. I was tailing you.
That's what I thought. What's your game?
Oh, not my game. It was some bloke I met near the express office.
Yes? What about this bloke?
Well, he says there's a 10 spot in it for me if I keep an eye on you all day. You know, see where you go and what you do.
Well, then what?
Well, that's all, mister. And I was supposed to report back tonight at 8 with a dope and get paid.
I see. Where were you supposed to report back?
Beach Street, opposite the railway station.
What did this man look like?
Oh, you can't miss him, mister. He's about 6'6", dark hair, and he has a long curved nose.
Wow, so he's the one.
Oh, you know him, huh?
Yes, I think I do. You were offered $10, you say? Here's 20.
What for?
For forgetting all about reporting back, see?
Oh, I get it. Sure thing. Thanks.
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
I want to get a good look at you.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I shan't forget what you look like in a hurry. Now beat it, and remember, stay out of my way.
Okay, mister.
All right, Patsy, come on.
What now, Nick?
We're going back to the office. I've got a special job to do now that requires a complete change of wardrobe. In fact, Patsy, a complete change of everything. There, that does it. Hand me that mirror, will you, Patsy?
Mm-hmm. Here you are, Nick.
Not bad. Well, Patsy, do you think I look like the man who was following us?
Simply perfect, Nick. Why, I positively couldn't tell the two of you apart now.
Now, the voice. Okay, lady, thanks. Well, I guess I better blow it. The mob's waiting for me.
Nick,
Yes, what is it, Patsy?
I'm afraid of what you may be letting yourself in for.
Oh, now, don't worry. I'll be watching my step.
You better. Make one false move with Barto. and
Yes,
you-
Patsy, I know the kind of man I'm up against. Oh. Hello? Oh, yes, Riley. Oh, you did, huh? What'd you find? Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, that's fine, Riley. Oh, no. I've got a plan of my own. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, Riley, thanks. Bye.
What is it, Nick?
Patsy, my suspicions were right. The report came through on Michael Stillfield. He proves to be none other than James Spear.
Spear? You mean Mrs. Brown's uncle?
Right. Seems he made his money out west many years ago, then got into some difficulties there. Changed his name and came east.
And he never got in touch with his niece?
Apparently not.
Well, then that fortune Mrs. Brown spoke about in her note is true.
Yes. According to his will, she becomes sole heir to the entire estate, being his only surviving relative.
Well, not bad.
If she lives, Patsy.
If she lives. Well, why shouldn't she live, Nick?
The person she left home with last night must be the same person who killed Stillfield. The $100 bill she left her husband proves that.
And you think that...
I think that if that person is Barto, she's in very real danger. Stillfield owned the fortune and was killed. Now Mrs. Brown owns it, and she may very well be next on the list.
Oh, I see what you mean.
What time is it now, Patsy?
7:30.
Okay, I better be off. I'm going to keep my 8 o'clock date.
You will be careful, Nick.
Yes, of course I will. You know what you're to do.
Yes, I'll do just what you told me.
Good. Well, so long, Patsy. I'll be seeing you.
I hope so, Nick. I hope so.
Now, 8 o'clock. And this is the corner, all right. But nobody seems to be sure. Wait. Uh-oh.
You waiting for someone, Bud?
Yeah, I was supposed to meet a guy here at 8.
Okay, I guess you're the one. Follow me.
Where are we going?
I'm taking you to the boss.
Why's that?
You'll find out. Come on. Here we are. Just a minute. It's me, boss. Is this the guy, boss?
Yeah. Come in. Close the door, Malone. Well, what'd you find out?
I followed the guy like you said.
Well?
How about that 10 spot you promised?
Don't worry, you'll get it. Now, what happened?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
I tailed the guy to a house on Elm Street. He went in. I didn't see him come out all day.
I see. Well, okay, you did a good job. Here's the 10.
Anything else, mister? I could use more dough. And I ain't particular how I make it, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You see, I figure you must have some kind of a racket, mister.
Very clever reasoning on your part.
Yeah. I'd sort of like to get in on it. That is, if you could use a guy like me.
Maybe I could. You don't happen to know the name of that man you were following, do you?
Never seen him before.
Well, it was Nick Carter.
Nick Carter? Who's he?
Never heard of him, eh? Well, he's just about the greatest detective this side of the Atlantic.
Hey, this Carter must be quite a guy.
Quite a guy is right. With quite a bag of tricks. He's the one man that stood between me and a fortune on 3 different occasions.
Put you in the jug, huh?
No, not quite. But on account of him, I've had to lay low the last 5 years. Now I've got another fortune within my grasp, and he's not going to stand in my way again. No, sir. I'll see to that.
Yeah, worked out a scheme, huh?
Yeah. Beautiful one. Beautiful and simple. He's going to be hoist by his own petard.
Come again?
One of his own great tricks is going to be his undoing.
I don't get you.
All right, Nick Carter. You can come out from under that trick voice now. Keep him covered, Malone.
Yeah, right.
Well, congratulations, Bardo. I was sure I had you fooled.
It was a neat job, Carter. Your resemblance to Trigger is absolutely uncanny.
Trigger?
Yeah, one of my own men.
Oh.
It was all a frame, and you fell for it. Knowing you and your tricks, I figure that's exactly what you do.
And now that I'm here, what do you propose to do?
Something I should have done a long time ago. This is the end of the road for you, Carter.
Bardo, I think you're bluffing.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do. Why'd you have to go to all this trouble? You could have had one of your men shoot me in the street.
No, Carter, I had a special reason for wanting to bring you here alive.
Yeah? What's that?
I wanted to see the look on your face when I opened the door to this inner room and you saw this.
What? Chester Brown?
Yeah. And I assure you he wouldn't be sleeping so peacefully if he knew what I was planning for him. And for you. Hey, you, wake up. Wake up. You've got company. You gave him too much of that dope, Malone. You might have killed him.
So what, boss? Ain't that what you want?
Yeah, but I want him to wait until Mr. Carter could keep him company. I want them to go out together. Come on, you. Wake up.
What's all of...
You may not believe it, Brown, but this tough-looking thug is really our old friend Nick Carter.
Oh. Oh, so it's you, Mr. Carter.
I thought I told you to hide away at that address I gave you.
I did. These guys found out where I was.
Did you tell anybody where you were?
No, nobody. I just gave my address to my old landlady so she could forward my mail.
Right boy, isn't he, Carter? Well, now that I've got you both here together, I'm going to hang you both together. Trigger,
Yeah, boss?
come in here. Help Malone tie this great detective up while I keep him covered.
It'll be a pleasure, boss. Hello there, detective. And thanks again for that 20.
Don't mention it.
You want this other guy, too, boss?
Yeah, get him up on his feet. I want to watch them dance together.
Yeah. Come on, you. Come on up, sonny boy. And you.
Okay, boss. All set.
Did you frisk him?
Yeah, he's clean. Here's his gun.
All right, then.
Mr. Carter, what are they going to do?
Looks as if they mean to hang us.
No, they can't do that. You can't. I haven't done it.
You squeal like a stuck pig. Be like Carter. He isn't saying a word.
I still don't believe you're going through with this, Bardo.
No. Get Carter's rope over the rafter at this end. Put Brown's rope over the other end.
No. Come on, you. Come on, now. Up there.
There you are, boss.
Good. Now a couple of chairs for him to stand on.
See here, Bardo. You've nothing to gain by murdering us in cold blood this way. You've killed one man already.
You've stolen $50,000. What more do you want?
50,000? That's pin money. Stillfield is worth $5 million.
And what about it?
That fortune's going to be mine, every cent of it. And you're the only man that might stop me, so I'm taking no chances.
I know you're clever, Bardo, but I can't see how you're going to get your hands on Stillfield's money now that he's dead.
On the contrary, Carter, that's what makes it all so simple. Because it makes Mrs. Brown his sole heir. And Mrs. Brown has been led to believe, by something that I said, that I'm a lawyer. And she's already turned over to me all the credentials necessary to claim her uncle's fortune. I'm sure my own wife will have no trouble at all convincing the real lawyers that she is Mrs. Brown. The real Mrs. Brown, poor woman, won't be with us very long, I'm afraid.
Oh, you fiends, you devil! Get after you! Oh.
So that's your devilish scheme, is it?
Yes, and it's a scheme that I'm sure is going to pay off.
I don't think so, Bardo.
What do you mean?
You really don't think I was foolish enough to come up here without taking certain precautions.
Such as what?
The police know exactly where I am. I'm afraid the laugh's on you, Bardo.
Yeah? Look out of the window, Trigger.
Okay. I don't see nothing. Hey, wait. Say, there is a cop across the street.
What's he doing?
Just stand there.
Hey, maybe there's something to it, boss. Let's get this thing over with and beat it.
Okay. Maybe what you said was so, Carter. It isn't going to help you much. Get them up in the chairs, boys.
Right.
Come on. Up you go.
Come on, up you go.
Yeah, that's it. Are the ropes tied fast, Malone?
Yeah, boss. Both of them are okay.
Well, goodbye, Mr. Brown and Mr. Carter.
No, you can't!
Ropes, Kay.
in the street.
Kick the chairs away, boys.
No, you
Dance, Carter, dance, dance. All right, boys. Let's get back to the hideaway.
So that was his plan, Patsy.
Yes, Lieutenant.
I see.
And if Nick didn't come out in a half an hour, we were to go in after him.
The time's just about...
Oh, look, Lieutenant.
Huh? What is it, Patsy?
Those 3 men leaving the building. They're getting into that car.
And in an awful hurry, too. Come on, Patsy, let's go in.
Nick! Nick, where are you?
Nick Carter, are you here?
Try this door.
He's not here. Try that one over there.
He's not here.
It's getting so dark, you get... Here I am. Hey, Patsy, listen.
Oh, Nick, are you all right?
Let me find the light here.
Oh, Nick, what's happened? What are you
They
telling...
tried to hang us.
Hang you?
Who's that with you, Nick?
That's Brown. Nearly passed out.
Oh.
But I think he's going to pull through now.
Oh, Nick, are you all right now?
Yeah, I'm okay. My throat's pretty sore, but I live long enough to see Bardo and his men behind bars.
Oh, take it easy, Nick. There's time enough for that.
No, there isn't, Riley. Patsy, you stay here with Brown. Look out for him. Riley, where's your
It
car?
was just on the block. Why?
We haven't a second to lose. We got to follow Bardo.
Huh?
Every minute counts now, and a woman's life's at stake.
There's no sign of him yet, Nick.
Oh, that's all right, Riley. Keep straight ahead on this road. Hey, do you have an extra gun in the car?
Yeah, you'll find one under the seat there.
Good. Oh, yes. Here it is.
Well, how does your head feel, Nick?
Much better now.
How did you ever get loose, Nick? They actually had you strung up, didn't they?
They sure did. I can still feel it.
Well, how did you do it?
After they tied my wrists, I got Bardo to talking. That gave me time to work him loose.
Oh, you mean you swelled your wrists when they tied them so that when you relaxed, they'd be so much smaller, huh?
Mm-hmm. Except that having my hands free wouldn't have helped me much if Bardo and his men hadn't left right away. Fortunately, they saw you coming across the street, and they ran as soon as they strung us up.
Well, what did you do then, Nick?
By that time, I'd worked my hands loose. So I grabbed the rope above my head, pulled myself up.
Phew, that was close.
Yes, it was. And I cut the rope with a little trick knife that's built into my tie clasp. I never thought to look for one there. Then I cut Brown down. Poor fellow, he was almost gone.
Well, thank heavens you outsmarted them, Nick. As for Barto, that dirty, murdering, no-good scoundrel...
Oh, look,
I
Riley.
could... Huh?
There's a car ahead of us.
Oh, was that the right one, Nick?
Let me see. So much dust on that. 3J20R7... Is that last... Oh, 6. Yes, that's the car. All right, now take it easy, Riley. I don't want him to get suspicious.
Right. Yeah, they're turning up that dirt road there, Nick. Shall I follow them?
Say, I know where that hideout is now.
You do?
Yes, must be the old Fairbanks Cave, not far from here. Bardo used it before. You stop the car here. If luck's with us, this is the end of the trail. And the end of Barto. Yeah, that's it.
See it now.
Yeah, we got him cornered like rats, Nick. All we have to do now is sit tight and wait for him to come out.
No, that won't do. They've got Mrs. Brown in there. We got to get in before it's too late.
Hey, Nick, there's someone coming out.
It's Trigger. Come on, Riley. This is our chance. Quiet now. We'll creep up on him.
I'm right with you, Nick.
You'll get behind him.
Oh!
That was worth $20. Now for the boss himself.
Well, boss, when are we going to get it over with?
Right now, Malone. Did you take a look at her?
Yeah, she's all tied up the way we left her.
All right. Say, Trigger. Trigger.
Yeah, boss, coming. What's up?
That special little job on the lady inside. We're going to take care of that right now.
Then what, boss?
What do you mean, then what? Then we bury her, of course. And that's the end of Mrs. Brown. Then my wife takes over, claims the fortune, and we're all set for life.
Oh, yeah. I was forgetting that you're going to palm the wife off as Mrs. Brown.
You talk too much, Trigger. I prefer action.
And so do I. Get your hands up, Clint Bartow, and you too, Malone.
Hey, what is this?
Boss, that's...
Hoist by his own petard, eh, Bartow?
Carter. Nick Carter. It can't be, boss.
But it is. Now back up, both of you, and keep those hands up high. Riley.
Yeah, Nick.
Come on in.
Good work, Nick. What are you in time?
Yes, Mrs. Brown's okay. She's inside there.
Well, I guess we can call it a day, Nick. You saved the lives of the Browns, and we got Bartow and his gang where we can put him away forever.
That's Riley. That's true. Clint Bartow and his tricks. Hoist by his own petard.
Huh? What in the world does that expression mean, Nick?
It's an old Hindu proverb, Riley. It means, man who make noose for other fellow, sometime find it around own neck.
This has been another of the strange adventures of Nick Carter, Master Detective, which are brought to you regularly at this same time by WOR Mutual. What's on the menu for next week, Nick?
Imagine a murderer sitting in the death cell at State's prison. It's just 8 hours before he's scheduled to die in the electric chair.
And then suddenly he sends for Nick Carter to prove he's innocent.
Why did he wait so long before he sent for Nick?
Well, that's all a part of the story, Joe.
But I want to tell you that the next 8 hours are about the busiest 8 hours that Nick ever spent.
And was he innocent?
That's also a part of next week's story.
In other words, Mr. Ripley, we're just not telling anymore until next week.
So I see.
But I think when you've heard it, you'll agree that it's a story well worth hearing. So long.
So long, folks.
So long to both of you for another week. In the strange adventure you have just heard, Nick Carter was impersonated by Lon Clark, Patsy by Helen Choate. The story was written for Nick Carter by Ralph Berkey. Original music was played by Lou White. The entire production was under the direction of Jock McGregor. Next week, at the same time, listen to another curious experience of Nick Carter entitled
9 Hours to Live, or Nick Carter and the Mystery of the Death House.
This story is a copyrighted feature of Street and Smith Publications, Incorporated. The Return of Nick Carter is produced in the studios of WOR and is broadcast over most of these stations every Saturday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern Wartime. This is Mutual.
One of old-time radio's longest-running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
And now, Mystery Theater.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of terrifying imagination. The fear you can hear. No breath of it yet as we begin our tale and meet Stephen and Simon Fairley. The occasion is solemn, as death should be. But all else for these identical twins is a wild sense of freedom and expectation, with no hint of the dark disasters already forming as they listen to the words of their father's last bequests.
And that the whole of my estate shall be disposed of as follows. To Stephen Fairley, my firstborn son, I leave all my worldly goods in entirety.
Well, thanks a hunk for nothing, dear old Dad.
There is a clause that refers to you, Simon.
Then let's hear it.
To my second-born, Simon, I leave only advice. Mend your ways. It is inconceivable to me, and has been most of my life, that you could be brother to Stephen, much less his identical twin.
Now, that's enough, Mr. Holcomb.
Well, there are some small bequests.
No, we can take them up later. I'm really sorry, Si.
Well, so am I, Stephen. I never expected the old crook to outfox me. I hope he rots in hell.
That's a damnable thing to say.
Precisely. Since this family long ago decided I'm the devil's own, why shouldn't I be his advocate? Or apostate? To hell with us all, Stephen. And may I be the last to join you.
Our mystery drama, And Death Makes Even Stephen, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Michael Tolan and Paul Hecht. It was true of the Fairley twins. Physically, no one could ever tell them apart. But their personalities, that was something else again. Stephen, the quiet, the considerate, the steady, the accountable. Simon, the wild, the unpredictable, the often cruel, the man of success in nothing. Except for physical resemblance, these two men from the same mother seemed the antithesis of each other.
Aren't you going a bit heavy on that, Simon?
Oh, just getting all I can, brother dear, while the getting is good. Now that I'm a pauper, I must make the most of every opportunity.
Now, don't be a fool. Here, give me that.
Oh, such a waste. But then you can afford it.
You've had enough today. Besides, I must talk to you.
Oh, you mean there may be a chance that I'm not to be cast out and told never to darken the door again?
Knock it off, Simon. I got to talk to you, seriously. And for Pete's sake, sit down.
No, I think I prefer to face the coup de grace, standing back to the wall, unblindfolded and unafraid.
Well, suit yourself, but quit clowning and stay away from the booze.
Okay, Stevie, forgive me. It was just Dad's will. I know he didn't exactly approve of me, but wow. Finding out how much really threw me for a loop.
It isn't as bad as it seems. There was a letter to me. He didn't want to leave you with nothing, Simon. And he's asked me to set up a trust to be administered by me to provide you with a decent income.
Well, now I think I will sit down. How much?
The trust or the income?
No, the money in the pocket, my 1 hour older brother. That's what I get while you're alive, right?
Yes, $1,000 a month, tax-free.
12,000 shimmering simoleons a year. That's a generous bequest from a man who could have bought Rhode Island and still have had enough left over to cut the national debt in half.
Well, what would you have expected him to do?
What he should have done, considering who we are.
What?
Cut the estate right down the middle. Left us each a half.
You know why he'd never have done that.
Oh, yes, only too damn well. I was 10 before I was old enough to latch onto the truth. Why, you were always the favorite. No, favorite isn't even the word. You know he always blamed me for Mother's death. He hated me.
That isn't true.
Then why do
the
you suppose...
shoe was somehow on the other foot. Your whole life, Si. Expelled from school after school, the girls, the car accidents, robberies, beating up women, all the things he had to cover
yes,
for you.
Yes, to save the precious Fairley name. All the things I did to get his attention. To have him treat me like a human being instead of a murderer.
You've been drinking too much.
Oh, no, Stevie boy. This is Simon Cold Sober. Simple Simon, who couldn't have his only parents' love, so he didn't know any better thing to do than to reach out any way to get him to even notice
We
me.
spent most of our lives in boarding schools. Do you think he offered me so much
Yeah,
more?
only the whole ball of wax.
I was talking of love.
That's a word with no meaning in this house.
Even between us.
What do we really know about each other? Except as children, we've been separated most of the time. And I always managed to get the short end. Who was drafted while you and Dad lived at home and you joined the business while I crawled on my belly with the VC trying to do what my father didn't have the nerve to do? Get rid of me.
None of that was my fault.
No. But Becky was something else again.
You were missing in action. Reported killed. It was over 2 years, Si. I loved Becky, too, and she turned to me.
Yeah, too bad I returned before the marriage had taken place. Still, in my condition then, it was hard to think of us as identical twins. 40 pounds difference in weight made quite a difference, huh? So she stuck with you, and you won, as always. Which brings us back to the immediate problem. Are you ready to cut the estate right down the middle and give me half?
Don't be ridiculous.
But you are the brother who is all love.
The money isn't dollars and cents, Simon. It's the shipping business, the holding company, the import-export exchange, 100 interlocking parts.
All right, then buy me off. $1 million, a couple of million, out of those nice, anonymous, numbered Swiss bank accounts. And then you can do what my father longed his whole life to do. Forget I ever existed. Or that I still do.
No way. Now, in 3 to 5 years, you'd blow it all on women and every grifter who got next to you with his get-rich-quick scheme. No. Father was right. I may have found him hard to love.
Oh, you worked hard enough to toady your way into his affections.
Perhaps I was sorry for him. Now, who is to say which of us caused Mother most harm, caused her to die in childbirth? Past history. Oh, now there are only 2 of us. Now, come on, Si, won't you accept Dad's suggestion and warn him in some decency?
$12,000 a year? I can't live on that.
It's free and clear. You have the house to live in, food, no living expenses.
All right, suppose I accept.
We'll make it all legal. The trust can revert to you, if you will, by your 35th birthday.
And Becky?
She's already made her choice.
But what?
Well, since your unexpected return and Father's death have delayed our marriage, perhaps it's only fair. Look, there's no way I can prevent you seeing her again, and now that you're back to yourself physically, I suppose you ought to. You know our engagement party is a week from tomorrow, but she won't be back from New York till then. In spite of Father's death, we've decided not to call it off. You're invited. And if you think you can replace me as the prospective groom, what can I do to prevent you? But as far as Becky is concerned, if you hurt her in any way, twin brother or not, I'll kill you. Oh, now I must see about the funeral arrangements.
Not you, dear brother. I'm the one with everything to gain. If only I knew the way.
Steve, why are you so late?
Would you believe a flat tire tonight of all nights? And Becky,
well, it doesn't matter now that you're here. But you've got to help me, darling. We're going to have to make a decision.
About what?
Kiss me first.
I don't need any invitation for that.
You've never kissed me like that before.
There's never been an occasion quite like this.
Well, it looks as though it isn't going to be the occasion we planned it to be.
What does that mean?
It's Father. You know how uptight he can get over nothing.
Nobody better. I grew up with one of my own.
I never heard you talk like that about your father before.
Oh, I just meant the generation gap.
Well, maybe that's what it is with Father. He's just laid it out flat. No engagement tonight, no announcement, nothing.
Then what's the party supposed to be for?
It isn't even a party anymore. It's a sort of memorial service for his old friend. He said it would be an insult to Justin's memory to have gaiety and fun so soon after his funeral. But I want us to be engaged. I don't want to wait.
Look, I have an even better idea.
What?
Let's you and me slip out right now. Forget the engagement and get married.
But how? We have no license or...
Look, we're less than 20 miles from a state where all we need is the fee and 2 witnesses.
Oh, you really bowl me over, Stephen. That's more the kind of thing Simon would do.
Well, Simon was a bit of a whack, I guess.
Simon was a lot worse than that. There are things I could tell you about your brother. Well, that's past history. How is he now?
The very picture of health.
It's unbelievable. When he got back from prison camp, I could hardly recognize him.
He'd had a rough time.
I know. And that's why I was so ashamed of myself for...
For what?
Don't tell this to anyone, Steve. But I always used to be so scared after Simon and I had broken off and it was you and me.
Scared of what?
Just hold me. You're so uncannily alike. Even I, who know you both so well, was scared I might not be able to tell the difference. Oh, darling, what a terrible thing to have to say or even think.
Don't think it. Put it out of your thoughts.
I can't. It's eerie. It's terrifying to even consider I could ever mistake my kind, gentle, loving Stephen for that wild, brutal twin who would have destroyed us.
Shh, darling. Don't look back. Kiss me, and then let's take off together.
Oh, Steve, I can't. Not with the guests
Then kiss
here.
me.
No, not when
I said kiss me.
You're not Stephen. Stephen would never... Stephen.
I've been looking for you everywhere, Becky.
Oh, I wish you'd found me sooner.
What's going on here?
Well, it doesn't matter now that you're here. Seeing you together, there's no doubt, but apart...
What is it? Look, if that lousy brother of
Stephen,
mine...
don't be silly. He was just congratulating me.
That's a little enthusiastic for just an engagement, wasn't it?
I haven't told you the news yet, Stephen. It isn't our engagement we're announcing tonight.
What?
It's our wedding, and as soon as possible, unless you object.
Oh, of course not, but your father...
You leave him to me. I'll arrange everything.
You lead, I'll follow. When's the day?
Just as fast as we can get the license. Like day after tomorrow, or the one after that at the latest. Oh, I wish you didn't have to go, Steve. We should have been the party tail enders.
I gotta get Simon home. He's practically out cold. Come on, Simon. Come on, get in.
Yeah, no, the driver's seat.
You're in no condition to drive.
Well, you're a lousy driver. I'm better at the wheel than you, drunk or sober.
Oh, would you get in the car?
Yeah.
He's out cold. I hope someone's up to help lug him up to bed. Well, good night, darling.
Good night. Drive carefully. The fog coming up.
Yeah, I will. Goodbye, my almost wife.
Goodbye, my almost husband.
I'll show them all.
What?
Yeah, I'll have her if I want. I'll take everything if I want. You can't do it to me.
Well, just shut up, Simon, will you? Just go back to sleep.
Huh? Hey, the VC got a roadblock, Lieutenant.
Huh?
Yeah, I feel it in my bones, right around the next bend. To stop the convoy. I want to stop the... Oh! Steve. Where are we?
It's all right. Take it easy, Simon. We're just on the way home.
How come I'm not driving?
Because you passed out.
Well, the road. Where's the road? We're off the road.
Cut it out, you fool. It's just fog.
No, off the road. Back to the left.
Would you let go of the wheel?
Back to the left.
Get a slow kill.
You gotta go left.
We're going right into the ditch. Will you let go? It's free.
After the protesting scream of rubber, the quiet in the forest is a stillness so thick it could almost be touched. A rabbit stands frozen before flight. The birds perch on the limbs, heads cocked, as if waiting to decide which direction danger will come from. The only thing moving now is one of the twins, climbing from the twisted wreck. But which one? I'll return shortly with Act Two. The birds have risen and are off in a whir of wings. The rabbit has long since reached the safety of his warren before Simon Fairley has determined that the blood dripping in his eyes is from a minor gash in the forehead, and the rest of his aches and pains are just contusions and bruises. Only now does he go to look at his brother, pinned between the steering wheel and the seat cushion.
Steve? Steve, are you all right? You're not dead. You can't be. Dead. It would solve everything. It would all be mine, and no blame for me. He was driving. Steve? Steve, can you hear me? Damn, it's so difficult to get at your heart to hear. I can't feel any pulse. Dead. No more second-class citizen. I'd be number one at last. The house, the money, even... No, not Becky. She's beyond me. Unless I could get away with it. I already did before I got careless and Steve turned up. Yes, that's it. That's the way. Make an exchange. Just get Steve out of his seat into mine. The wheel hasn't got him pinned too tight. No. There. He's coming loose. That's it. There. It's going to work. It's all going to be mine.
What happened?
Steve, you're alive.
Yeah, I guess so. How are you? Hey, you're bleeding.
Huh? Oh, I just cut my head a little. It's nothing.
Oh, I can't get up. I think I sprained my ankle. Maybe broken it. Here, give me a hand, Si. Some sort of jagged rock under my back. Could you move it or help me up?
Yeah, let me see. Oh, it's just a rock. Let me get rid of it and then... Get rid of it? Or use it?
What are you waiting for?
I'm not waiting any longer.
Well, then, for the love of...
This time, you are dead. But not Stephen. Simon. No time to wait around. There's plenty to do before someone finds you. Go around and break the windshield. No, not from the outside. The inside. Now, get Steve into my seat and get into the driver's seat till someone finds me.
All right, fellas, finish up with the pitches and then get those two guys free.
Yeah.
Now, don't try to move them. The ambulance will be here any moment. You can back down there. Okay, miss, nothing for you. Move along.
Oh, Sergeant, please. You've got to let me get through to Stephen.
Stephen who?
Stephen Fairley. I heard about the accident.
You know Stephen Fairley?
We're going to be married next week.
Okay, cut your motor. Come on out. Now, look, Miss...
Elizabeth Rundell.
Oh, sure. I thought I recognized you.
Well, what is it, Sergeant? Can't you take me to the car? Well, he's not badly hurt.
Look, Miss Rundell. Do you happen to know who was driving the car?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. It was Stephen.
You sure of that?
Quite. They'd only just left an engagement party at my house, and Simon had had too much to drink, so Stephen took the wheel. They look so like each other, I can't blame you for not being...
They don't look nothing like each other now, lady.
Well, they're not... Stephen isn't dead.
The passenger is dead. The driver is alive.
Oh.
That's your guy. How bad off he is, we won't know till we get him to the hospital.
Nurse?
No, Steve. It's me. It's Becky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want the nurse?
No, it's just this bandage. It's half over my eyes. You'll be able to tell me from Simon from now on easily with this scar I've got over my eyes.
Haven't they told you about Simon yet?
What do you mean, told me? He wasn't... Oh, my God. Now I remember. I was half out when they found me, but his head must have gone right through the windshield. Is he dead?
Yes.
Oh, that poor, foolish kid. It's all my fault. I should have put the seatbelt on him.
Oh, darling, don't blame yourself. Just tell me what happened.
It was the damn fog and Simon's drinking. I was taking it quite easy, but you know that big hollow on Hillsdale Road shortly after Gray's Corners?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just as we hit that, the fog was like a smokescreen. And at the same time, Simon woke up from some drunken dream about Vietnam and went crazy. He grabbed the steering wheel and threw us right off the road and into the tree before I had a chance to brake. The wheel and the seatbelt saved me. Although I did take a pretty good crack across the forehead, but Simon...
Well, forget about that now, dear. It's over and done with. Just let's get you well.
Oh, I'm fine, Becky. I've gotten a clean bill of health. Nothing broken, just a few bruises and a little embroidery above my eyes. You think you can manage a slightly piebald groom with a bandage headband?
Oh, now look, Steve, we can't have the wedding as we planned it now.
Why not?
Well, how would it look?
I don't care how it looks. It was my father and brother, and there was little love lost among us. I can tell you the truth now, dear.
But I thought you and your father...
My father was a hard man. Selfish, domineering, insensitive. He was more like a machine than a man. He was proud of me not because I was his son, but because I was his heir. Something to perpetuate the Fairley name. Some sort of pseudo-immortality.
Well, I'll make it up. I'll make it up to you. The past, Steve. Our future will be a long and lovely one.
Huh. With no twins?
Oh, well, I can't promise that.
Well, they skip generations. Now, look, you run along and plan something lovely to wear for tonight.
Tonight?
Yes, darling. I've already arranged the whole thing with cook and butler. You and I are having our engagement dinner alone at the house tonight. I'll send Gray with the car to pick you up at 7:30.
And please forgive me for troubling you with affairs of state, so to speak, the very day you're out of the hospital.
That's all right, Mr. Holcomb, but I am a little short of time.
Yes, of course, by all means. Now, what I need is a number of signatures from you.
Signatures?
No, just some legal papers and certain certified checks which can't wait.
Damn. Well, look, you'll have to give me a day or so until they can take the bandage off this right hand of mine. I can't sign anything until they do.
Oh, my apologies. Of course, I hadn't realized. Of course, everything can be delayed. Except for one thing.
What?
Well, there's a piece of correspondence I don't quite understand. Apparently some sort of a private deal between you and Pesin Joglu and Company.
Who?
Pesin Joglu and Company, a Turkish import-export firm with whom we have some dealings. You know, Persian rugs, tabourets, ancient jewelry, inlaid cabinets, silk screens, objects of many descriptions.
Yes.
But I don't know what consignment this letter, opened by mistake after your father's death, refers to.
Well, damn this forehead bandage. You, read it to me.
Oh, yes, very well. Omitting the formal address, it reads, Dear Stephanos, we are still awaiting payment, consignment YB382-7. We are informed that delivery has been received. Unless your check for $48,000 or equivalent reaches us within the week, we will be forced to take action against you. We know this must only be an oversight. Yours sincerely, Demetrius Pesin Joglu.
Well, why don't you just pay it?
Oh, Mr. Fairley, no one else in the company knows anything about this consignment, except you.
Me? Oh, well, of course. Look, it's a perfectly normal deal. Just Just pay him the money.
Oh, a check that size would have to be countersigned by you, sir, and with your hand
Well,
on the
by
condition...
tomorrow, I may be able to manage. Have we time?
Oh, according to the letter, to the end of the week or beginning of next. I don't think it's that important. All that puzzles me is the nature of such an expensive secret and, well, shall we say, a personal consignment.
I don't think I have to account to you for that.
Oh, not to me, but eventually when the books are...
If you
audited-
must know, it was a wedding present for my wife. Wife-to-be, that is. It was my father's idea. A necklace. Apparently he got sick before he issued the check. Is there any reason why I can't close this matter?
Oh, no, not at all. Everything is yours now, Stephen, eh? Well, now, I mustn't delay you. You will be postponing the wedding this Saturday, I suppose.
No.
Well, but there's scarcely time for your brother's funeral.
It was Simon's desire to be cremated. It's already been done. There will be no funeral.
Ah, I see. Perhaps you're right, Stephen. There's been enough sorrow for you in the past few days. You have a right to some happiness.
That briefcase is very heavy. I'll carry it to your car for you.
Well, perhaps it's better I leave it here. Then you can sign at your leisure.
Good idea. And now,
Oh, yes. Now, of course, I must be off. Well, I expect you'll be taking a honeymoon, you and Becky. So we won't be seeing you at the office for quite a while.
No, not for quite a while. Here you are, Mr. Holcomb. Let me help you in.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, call me as soon as you're ready with those signatures.
The signature. I'd better get up to Steve's room and start learning to copy it. And what the devil is that business with the clerk? I've got to get away from here fast. There are too many things I don't know about Steve. Everything's working too well to make any mistakes now. I guess I have time to go through Steve's desk before I have to get dressed. Damn, it's locked.
Naturally, Simon. Among your other unpleasant characteristics, you've always been a sneaky little snoop.
Steve!
Not exactly in the flesh, of course, thanks to you, but Steve just the same. We're something rather special, you and I. Even though you've somewhat altered my appearance, I am still your twin.
Only the mouth and the chin, and the hair, matted now with dried blood, would serve to identify Steve. The rest of the face is a horror of torn flesh and the white shards of shattered bone, out of which wreckage stares the one uninjured eye, boring with deadly intensity into the terrified face of the man who was once his image. I'll return shortly with Act 3. Frozen with fear and fascinated by that single hypnotizing eye, Simon is forced, for what seems an eternity, to focus on his twin's ruined face, the mocking smile and the white, even teeth, a ghastly contrast which multiplies the horror of the broken skull above them. At last, with a supreme effort, he tears his eyes away to find himself staring at the reflection of his own countenance in the mirror above the desk.
No. Oh, God, no.
Don't cover your face, little brother. Leave me at least with a memory of how I once looked.
You're dead. Cremated. You can't be here.
As I said, not in the flesh, but we are hatched from the same egg, Simon. You can't get rid of me so easily. I shall always be with you, in spirit, shall we say?
No. No, leave me alone.
I will. When it serves me. Or you.
Steve, I didn't mean to.
Of course you did. I might possibly have done the same if our positions had been reversed.
What?
You have a lot to learn about me, little brother, which you would have in time. To avoid breaking open my desk, let me offer you the key.
Steve, I can't rummage through your things now.
The key. Take it. Why not? And since time is short before the dinner, I'll even help you understand a little better. Open the desk. Yeah, the left-hand pigeonholes are a false front. No, here, let me. There are all my secrets. Now, while you read them, I'll tell you about the most important items.
But why are you helping me?
Because I want you quite as thoroughly damned as I am. I'll make it brief, as you read. Now, Demetrios is in the drug business. For years, I have used Father's impeccably accredited import firm to cover for deliveries.
You in drugs?
You'll find the evidence in the papers you're leafing through. Wicked Simon, the black sheep. Stupid Simon, really. We were twins in more than the outward look, believe me. The difference was that you didn't have enough sense to bury your faults. I was smart enough to keep them covered up, but not smart enough to realize you had as little scruples as I had when it came to the point.
All right, so you lost. Why not let me have my innings now?
Why not? I'll even be of help. Until you have studied my signature enough to mask it, I'll even sign your papers for you. Don't worry. The hand that guides the pen may be of the spirit world, but the pen and ink are finite enough. Go on. Get ready for romance.
This letter that came from your Demetrios, shall I pay this?
Let me see. Oh, that double-dealing crook. Nah, don't pay him a cent. I've already made arrangements so that he will be paid in full. Yeah, forget it.
And you?
I will not be so easy to forget, dear twin brother. We are bound together by special hoops of steel. As long as I haunt this house, I shall be unavoidably hard to escape. Well, go on. It's time for you to be all that Becky expects of me.
Of you?
Aren't I what you hope to become?
It's really too hot for a fire, but I couldn't resist it.
I'd find it irresistibly romantic, even if I were bathed in sweat, which I'm not.
Can I make you another drink?
No, thank you. I want to enjoy this dinner and remember it.
There's champagne.
I'd be disappointed if there weren't.
I don't want ever to disappoint you, darling.
Oh, my darling Steve. Not you, ever.
I'll try to live up to your expectations. Do you love me?
I love you. I've always loved you. Now that I came so close to losing you, I love you even more. Oh, it's a terrible thing to say, I know, but thank God it was Simon instead of you.
Shh, darling, let's not spoil the evening. I've sent all the servants out, you know. We're all alone. You sure you don't want another drink?
No. But can I make a confession?
Of course.
I'm famished.
Mademoiselle et servie. May I escort you to your table?
Thank you, monsieur. Oh, Stephen, how pretty the table is, and my favorite roses. But why?
Why what, Becky?
Why is it set for three?
You don't mind my joining you, Simon, do you? Suitably dressed, white tie and tails, and the face mask I thought was a stroke of genius. It hides the damage so nicely.
Did you say something, Stephen?
That damn Joseph, he's in his dotage. I suppose he's so accustomed to setting for three that he just...
Don't blame the poor butler. I set the third place.
Damn you! I won't have it. There's only...
Steve! Steve, what is it?
I'm sorry, Becky. I can't help it. It's all spoiled now. Let's get out of here and eat somewhere else. I've got to get away from this house.
Steve, you're not eating a thing.
I'm sorry, Becky. I know it must seem foolish to you, but that extra chair set for our dinner, it threw me.
Well, it was unfortunate, I know, when you wanted everything to be just right. But don't blame poor old Joseph too much. After all these years of setting the table for you and your father
And Steve... Simon. That's what did it to me. See, I could see him sitting in that chair with his face... You didn't see him after the accident, thank God, but he...
Steve, it wasn't your fault. He was the one who grabbed the wheel and pulled you off the road into the tree, wasn't he?
Simon. Yes, Simon was the one, all right. That's true enough.
So you mustn't take the blame.
As long as I live in that house, he'll haunt it. The memory of him, the battered face.
Well, we'll solve all that. You won't live in the house. You'll move out to a hotel tonight, and after we're married on Saturday, when we come home from the honeymoon, we'll buy a new house.
Hey, wait. I have an even better idea. Maybe we'll never come back.
Never?
Maybe we'll settle in Rome or Paris or the Costa del Sol.
Or just travel. I've always wanted to see Mont Saint-Michel and the Tivoli and Taj Mahal.
That's my girl. That's what we'll do. Free souls with never a look behind. Becky, we've got it made, you and me. From here on in.
Off for the honeymoon.
Oh, God. You again.
Always, always, my dear twin. We're prisoners in the same jail.
What does that mean?
This house. Well, I know you think you're escaping it for a while, but that's only temporary. Take it from me.
Becky and I are off for a honeymoon.
Of course. Not till Saturday, though. Does seem a little early to be packing.
Might as well start sometime.
And you seem to be planning to take quite a wardrobe.
Well, on a ship, there's plenty of room.
Plenty of distance between here and there.
What do you mean, there?
Oh, wherever. What were they, Rome? Paris? Mont Saint-Michel? The Taj Mahal? The very poetic one.
Damn you. Do you know everything?
One of the few advantages of being a ghost.
And you can go everywhere?
No, there are limitations. No, I'm tied to this house.
And you're welcome to it.
Thank you, Simon. Or should I call you Stephen? Oh, it's so confusing since you switched identities. Which, by the by, reminds me, while you were dining and making all your escape plans, I signed all the papers old lawyer Holcomb left, so you are free to go.
I suppose I should say thank you.
Call it my wedding gift.
What about the check for that Demetrius or whatever his name was?
Oh, forget about that. That was a private deal. He doesn't need your check. Other arrangements have been made to satisfy that debt, believe me. So, this, as the word goes, is goodbye.
Yes.
I'm sorry I won't be able to attend the wedding and give the bride away.
I never intend to come near this house again.
Pity. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed.
You like the cabin all right, Becky?
Oh, it couldn't be more perfect.
How about your new husband?
Ditto.
Well, just keep feeling that way. Darling, you'll have to excuse me for a minute.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. The assistant purser just told me someone from the office needs an okay or something before we sail. He doesn't have a pass, so they wouldn't let him aboard. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
What, don't miss getting back on the boat.
Don't you worry. It took me long enough to catch it. Mr. Hood?
Yeah.
You from Fairley Company and Sons?
Yeah, right. You, Stephen Fairley?
Yes.
Good. I got a message from you from my boss. Can we step over here to my car?
Well, the boat's too near sailing. You just tell me here.
At the car. Now, just play it real cool, Mr. Fairley, and don't make any sudden moves. That jab you feel is the muzzle of a short-barreled .38. Okay. Shall we step over to the car?
Where are you taking me?
Little spot on the Jersey Flats. Ain't exactly quicksand, but you'd be surprised how fast that slime sucks up a body that ain't moving.
You're not going to kill me.
You know, dope is a funny game. Using your business as a front was a great way for us to get the stuff in. But when you tried the old double O on Mr. P, oh, that was crazy, Stephen.
No, look, you don't understand. I'm not Stephen.
What?
Stephen is dead. I'm Simon. I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, sure.
See, no, look, when we had the automobile accident, all I did was change places. I mean, Stephen was driving, and I was... Oh, for God's sake, look, I just got married. My wife is... Please, you've got to listen!
Okay. Dump him in the swamp and let's get out of here, Giorgio.
Well, here we are, Simon. Back home again. Table set for two this time. That's all there is. The rest are gone. Just you and me. Oh, I know how it feels. But you might as well face it. Eternity is such a long time. And since we were twins, it seemed a shame Simon was alive and Stephen dead. This way, I'm still dead. But even Stephen.
A footnote to the tale you just heard. Mr. Hood's quagmire proved less effective than its reputation, and Simon's body was recovered. Since he had served in the Army, an examination of his fingerprints established the deception about the death of the twins. The tangled result of the estate is unimportant, since there was no heir. But at least Becky gained a measure of peace in finding out that she had not tied her life to a man who would have ruined it. I'll be back shortly. Whenever the dead try to control the living, the seeds of disaster are sown. At the beginning of our tale, Justine Fairley lay in his bed, whitened with the wax of death, his stubborn mind at peace with the thought that he had settled the future of his twin sons. Sic transit gloria mundi, so passed the triumphs of this world. He could no more control the accident of their birth than he could their deaths. Our cast included Michael Tolan, Paul Hecht, Joan Lovejoy, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.